Hello everyone, welcome to another stream with Hutch. I believe it's the third time we are playing on the same format. He's going to join me soon and we will be able to hear him. And I'll introduce him in a moment, so first I'll make sure that I can hear the stream. Not sure if the volume works. Hello everyone. Yeah, okay, the volume works. Only difference that I can think of is the fact that I have the headphones here, and the reason is that I don't want to have an echo on his side of the stream. Previously we had a little bit of issues with this, so seems like a safe way to solve it, and at least the safest attempt. And well, for those who don't know by now who Hutch is, he is a YouTuber who's been recording videos and putting them on the internet forever now, and is a very talented entertainer in my opinion. And he has very close to 1 million subscribers on YouTube, but as far as I can tell, and comparing to other bigger YouTubers I've seen, he definitely deserves more. And just very professional on the topic, has been delivering for many years, and has managed to build a very, very big following by chess standards, and probably by any standards. And among other things, he's a chess enthusiast, and he does some chess videos quite often, and he doesn't mind with the fact that he's not grandmaster level yet, and he wants to improve, and he's having fun, and he's doing a very good job promoting our game, even though this might not be his main reason. I still admire the fact that he's doing it. And well, I reached out to him to do this collaboration, and it's been very successful so far. I feel like there is a lot of wisdom hidden in this method that we are trying to let's say to spread here through this method of 2 questions. I'll mention them quickly now. 1, what does my opponent want? The second question is, which piece doesn't work, assuming he has no threat. And I'm going to help him out by asking questions, and if we reach time pressure I might say some moves. I'll try to refrain from saying direct moves, but we're gonna combine our efforts to play as well as possible. The emphasis is...
Tal, can you hear me?
Yes, just a moment. Yes, I can hear you.
There he is. Wait, can you talk? Can you speak again real quick?
Yes. So, are we live?
I don't know why the audio is not picking you up.
Well, it might have something to do with the headphones.
I guess. But if I put it on here, then I think I can hear you. All right, try and talk again.
Yes. So can
All
you
right, there you are.
All
yeah.
Right. Good.
That's weird. All right, there's not going to be any desktop audio while I'm playing, but you guys will be able to hear him just fine. Okay, so we're going to be playing in a tournament. Do you want to talk about it real quick, just in case people don't know what's going on?
Sure. It's the third time we play in the same format. Basically 10 minutes with no increment for every single game. And the tournament will last for 2 hours. And we're going to play together. Normally it's not legal, but under this particular tournament we set it up in a way that everyone can use a friend who's giving them advice while they're playing. And yeah, and this is more or less what we are up to, just to play together and attempting to improve our chess in the process.
Well, do you get anything out of these? Do you actually improve your chess by these lessons? I'd like to think that maybe I'm a mini prodigy. Maybe I could teach you something about the game that you haven't learned yet.
Well, I love teaching in general, and while I don't do it for money quite yet, I'm trying to focus on my own career as a chess player, but I feel like I'm receiving a lot when I'm giving some of my chess related wisdom to someone and he's learning something. I'm not sure if my chess improves, but it definitely doesn't harm. And
Sure. Yeah.
it feels a little bit nostalgic to. I remember probably the most fun period of my life from the chess point of view was when I was a beginner and everything was so magical and I couldn't understand anything.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I agree with you.
yeah, so
That was
yeah, it reminds me of this period to see low-rated players playing and to hear them thinking and so on. And yeah,
I've been playing the last week, not regularly, more semi regularly, but I feel like my game improved a lot. I mean, I'm not still not a good player yet, but I was asking myself those questions that you were asking me the last time that we played, like what's my opponent's threat?
yeah,
How can I improve this position? Should I just do a waiting move? Like I was doing more waiting moves, way more waiting moves.
yeah.
And it turns out you win a lot more games by
True.
by doing those waiting moves instead of just always being aggressive.
Yeah, in chess, in order to win, you just need to avoid making bad moves for long enough, and the opponent will take care of the rest. And the threat, this thing about the opponent's threat, I think it's almost like magic because basically when he makes a move, there's only two things that can happen. Either his piece is threatening something, or he opens some line for another piece that it was hiding. And if you notice whatever it is that he's doing and you react, then basically there's nothing that can go wrong.
All right. Sounds like I'm going to win every game today then. As long as
Yeah.
we follow those simple guidelines.
Yeah, and avoid losing on time.
How have you been playing in any tournaments recently?
Yeah, I've played the Israeli Chess League and played some players who are higher rated than me. One of them is in the top 40 in the world, and yeah, it wasn't easy, but I managed to avoid losing in all of these games. So
Oh, wow. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Good for you, man.
yeah. I feel like I'm improving slowly. So maybe it has something to do with our streams. Who knows?
Maybe I'm the X factor. Maybe I'm going to be the thing that launches your career into the stratosphere.
If so,
Maybe not though. Maybe not though. I don't know. I'm not clairvoyant.
the only way to make sure is to keep doing these streams and to keep winning. I don't remember if we actually managed to win one of the tournaments, but
I don't think I did. Did we do 2 tournaments so
Yeah,
far? Or have
yeah.
we? Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
say the third is the charm usually.
I feel like we did pretty good in some of
Yeah,
those other
yeah.
tournaments. Yeah.
You know, I usually try to put a limit of 2,000 rating, but for some reason it didn't work pretty well with the site. And then we allowed, just like now, if you can see, a bunch of players around 2,200 to play, and they're very strong on leeches. So
Oh my God, this tournament is so stacked.
yeah, I guess
What
we're
the heck?
probably not going to play for win, but to win the event. But well, it will be a nice byproduct if it happens. But I won't mind it.
Let me read the ratings for the people in the stream here because you guys can't see it. We got 2278, 2226, 2202, 2200, 2131, 2112, 2118, 2090, and 2072.
Yeah, and probably more will join in the coming minutes. Have you pressed join, by the way?
I have not yet. Yeah, I did it.
That's probably a good idea. And
Now I did it.
And yeah, you're ranked number 10 with 2089.
I'm ranked 2089.
Yes.
How the hell did that happen? Good Lord.
We're gonna play some low-rated opponents. And,
Great. I love to hear that.
Yeah. So for those who didn't watch the previous streams, I'll repeat really quickly. So 2 magical questions as mentioned. The first one is what does my opponent want, or what is his threat? And if he has no threat, then we ask ourselves which piece doesn't work and attempt to improve it. And yeah, that's more or less it. And even in my level and on higher levels, people sometimes fail answering these questions. And,
Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. I feel confident going into this one.
Me too. Have a
We
good
we
feeling.
beat some decently rated players last time, so I'm not too worried about it. I got Tal in my ear. I got my own chess instincts, which are pretty phenomenal,
True, true.
and I have the star power, so I think we're good.
Yeah, me too. I have a good feeling, and well, I've been quite active with my own chess tournament, so I feel like I'm also kind of in good shape. And well, the only thing I'm not too sure about is like what to do in the openings, because sometimes these high-rated players they just play theory, and
Yeah.
well, if I don't tell you the exact moves, then we might get into trouble. But again, it will be fun either way.
Yeah, just help me avoid those traps. Get me to the middle game,
Yeah.
and I'll make magic happen.
I'll get you to the middle game safely. And well, other than these two questions, I guess every now and then, if there is a chance, I'll talk about some other basic things. But I think that in chess, knowing the basics is already more than enough until a very high level. And yeah, I have a feeling that that tactics will be the main thing here.
You think tactics over theory?
Well, generally speaking, tactics that are like 1 or 2 move long, where you just see a fork or one threat, then if you can spot them and avoid getting into such traps, it should make it should be enough for a huge improvement in your rating and level in general. So as long as you can avoid blunders, then I feel like we'll be fine. But I'm also missing things every now and then. The guys here are extremely strong and they really like to flag people at the higher level. And, can you explain what is flagging to the viewers?
No, I don't know. I don't know what that is. What is that?
So flagging is basically where the clock just ends and you lose on time. So back at the time there used to have like I think it's called analogous clocks, and there was like a red flag
right.
and it will drop.
Yeah. I've played on those before.
Yeah, so this is where flagging comes from. So we have 10 seconds. And well, the game will start any second now.
Yep. Hold on, I gotta All right, here we go. So chess, and then we need to stretch that out a little bit.
Okay, let's see if I can follow your game.
Hold on 1 second.
You're white. Just make a move in the first 20 seconds of each game, if you can.
Yep, I'm on it right now. Boom.
Good. So d4 on the board, d5. I'll ask you on each move if possible. For the moment we're just developing. He's not threatening much, you can develop.
So what did we decide about putting the dark squared bishop outside of the pawn chain for this one? Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
It is a good idea, but first you want to develop the knights. So
okay,
let's bring the knights out. Now depending on his move. So it's a bit sharp, but we can handle it. Let's get the bishop out before we play with the pawn. So we want to have it outside of the pawn chain. Yeah, now he's going for the gambit. This is a gambit line. So let's go aggressively. So now we can't really retrieve the pawn, but yeah, let's just play some sharp things. You want to go with the pawn in the center very aggressively and try to get the pawn back. Yeah, exactly. Now he's supposed to protect the pawn, and now you want to try to exploit the pin. So this is just theory. So the move here is e5. You want to win the piece.
Yeah. But then he can push on h6, right?
Yeah, and now you're supposed to go bishop h4. And I apologize, I have to tell the moves because it's just
we're just getting out of the opening here.
Yeah, just well-known knowledge. So knight takes g5.
Yep, that's what I was thinking
g5,
too.
Bishop takes g5. He's supposed to go knight bd7. And now I don't play this move regularly, this line, but if I'm not wrong, I think pawn takes f6 is the main move, as far as I can remember. And don't worry, the theory will end soon, I hope. It's quite high rated. Yeah, now you're supposed to develop your bishop, so you want to get it to the long diagonal.
Okay.
The educational part will start soon enough, I hope.
See, but now if I push that pawn and he just immediately pushes his pawn on c5.
Yeah, then you're supposed to play d5 and block it, and it's just a whole mess, but it's supposed to be okay for white.
All right,
in
let's
fact,
go.
this is the actual main line. It's supposed to go c5 or queen b6. You develop your bishop to g2. He's supposed to castle or go c5. You castle. And actually...
I'm gonna...
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Now we're supposed to castle. If I remember correctly. I haven't seen this line in years, but it's gonna be fun. Yeah, now you want to close this diagonal and go d5. And... pawn...
d5, huh?
Yeah, and now... he's supposed to go b4, exactly. And this position is extremely sharp. There are a lot of options. My suggestion is that we'll make a few more moves, let's call it, without explaining too much, and then see what happens and try to deal with the consequences. So just a funky move that I know about, that exists here, is rook to b1. I know it looks crazy, but it's an interesting idea.
All right.
Yeah, to offer him the knight. He's probably not gonna take it because, as I mentioned, he's like high rated. Yeah, he's probably already still knows the theory, which is even scary for me, because I don't know how to handle these kind of things without knowledge. Let's call it this way.
So what about knight to e5 right now?
To e4, you mean?
e4, yeah.
He will have bishop takes d5. So now he wants to take your knight. And it's getting extremely sharp in the first game already. Let's see. Okay, my guess is either to take on e6 or to go knight to a4. But I think taking on e6 should make sense. But it might be bad. Let's try. Let's see what happens.
What are you doing to me, Tal? What are you doing to me?
Yeah, I entered the line that I don't really know, hoping he will just... yeah, now I think he's supposed to take. Yeah, and see what happens next. I forgot that I'm supposed to be educational. I was just trying to have fun for my own sake. So
you got me in a pickle here.
No, it's not necessarily that bad. It's just very, let's call it a bit fun. So yeah, now
you're a masochist if you think this is fun.
Exactly. Okay, the World Championship, also by the name of Tal, would have enjoyed this position. And I feel like...
What about queen to a4? Huh?
It looks like a good move. I like it even more on f3 when you're like looking at the long diagonal. But wait. He's threatening queen h3 and mate on h2. So this is probably something you want to handle. I don't want to blunder mate. So
I gotta do this. I gotta screw my bishop back and block that off.
Maybe pawn to h4 is a move. I'm not sure if it's good or not. But this guy is probably gonna survive our rage. So let's see.
He's got a discovery against my queen here. I don't like this situation.
Yeah, he's taking the piece. Okay, I think
I should take this, right?
Yeah, and open up the rook. Let's hope for the best. Who knows what will happen. First game is gonna be just a gamble. Okay, now we don't want to exchange queens, so this is a little bit tricky all of a sudden.
We don't want to exchange queens, so f3 is not a good spot for that queen, because then you can force the exchange.
Yeah, that's true. So probably we want to go with the queen somewhere else. I guess c2 is a possible square.
That's what I was looking at. That's what I was looking at too.
Yeah.
So he does, his king is super loose over there, so it'd be nice if we could exploit that somehow.
Mm-hmm. I guess in the next games I'll try to offer lines that are a little bit calmer so we can avoid all the theory, especially the theoretical lines that I don't really know.
Okay, all right, yeah. I'm with it.
Or we could just play my own lines and either way we'll survive. So just want to be able to explain the opening moves, and sometimes they're just based on years and years of grandmaster practice that I'm not sure I understand myself.
That's what's, to me, like the hardest part about playing someone with a much higher rating is getting out of the opening because they know all the tricks and traps and they know all the theory.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I know like a couple openings pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the rest, and they're like infinite openings.
That's true.
Oh God, what's he doing? All right.
Okay, we probably want to develop the rook from f1. So
We don't want to push a4 right away and start kind of trying to bully him down there.
well, the problem is that he's gonna go queen e4 check, and then I'm not too sure how to respond to that move. So I'm thinking just to develop the rook from f1 with tempo and.
Sure. Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, it's not like we have a good position. He's a piece up, and he's like, he might be playing very well. Yeah, so he's giving a check. We probably have to go backwards. You don't want to go to the h file because then he will take your bishop because of the pin on the h file.
Right. Yeah.
So probably the only square we have left is g1. Yeah, so the first game, we're just gonna have some fun and then relax a bit more, let's say, on the next ones. So
No, we don't have a good position, but we don't have a terrible position, right?
well, a piece down is never fun for me, and I mean when playing, this guy is probably very strong. So
All right. So what's he threatening there? He's
probably
threatening.
wants to take on g3 with the bishop. So I would just think about playing queen to e2 with the idea to go queen g4 check and keep it closer to the defense. And
Oh, I see. Okay. We don't want to push that a pawn.
we do,
We don't
but
really
we
have-
don't have time. I mean,
No.
time on the board, not on the clock.
So e2. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing how the opening choice can affect the entire nature of the game. And
Yeah.
yeah, the part that has something to do with memory and knowledge is also one of the reasons one of the most difficult parts for me about chess. And
Yeah.
even those who are the best at it in the world are saying if they could press a button and go back 30 years, they would.
So that they never learn chess? What do you mean? I don't
So
understand.
like 30 years, like from the opening point of view, like when nobody knew anything about the opening.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it's their
Well-
main advantage, they prefer not to have it because they
Really?
they just want to play human versus human, and everyone now just memorizes computer moves in the opening, and at the end, if both of the players know good moves, then it will just liquidate into a draw or something. So
Like Anand. I just watched that Magnus Carlsen documentary on Netflix, and they talked about
Yeah.
how Anand was he approached the games with a real analytical mind, like using
Exactly.
computers and yeah.
yeah, he wanted to minimize the difference between them. There's no doubt Magnus is better, so he wanted to just minimize it by preparing a lot and having a lot of computer moves in mind.
So he stopped that check.
Yeah, and he's kind of preparing bishop takes g3 again with some mating ideas. I don't see a forced mate, but a bishop g3 is definitely going to be very close to winning for him. And yeah, it's not looking very good for us. So I would consider playing king g2 back just to defend this.
Hey, just so you know, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm saying the moves. Of course, I should find a way to imply it, but it's just I feel like even if I were to play now, he would still find like the best moves and beat us. So I want to at least challenge him a bit.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that even if he doesn't manage to kill us very quickly, he will still try to, as I said earlier, flag us, just win on time. But, well, if he doesn't threaten anything, we will go a4 at last.
But then he just takes, right?
Yeah, but we'll hope for some tricks. I don't know.
Okay.
At the moment, I don't see any threat we can create, so it's a little bit too challenging. And yeah, these 2,000 players are too strong for me.
Oh yeah, that I just saw it now. Yeah, that bishop taking g3 would be devastating because if my queen was on g1, it'd be bishop takes, then pawn takes, and then rook takes, and then my
Exactly.
life would just get real uncomfortable.
That's
Oh, he took that pawn. What's he doing?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, it's probably not a bad move. We can go a4 just to see what
I'm
happens.
doing it. I'm doing it.
I
Let's
don't
go.
I don't think it's that good, but I mean, there is this famous saying that in a bad position there are no good moves. All the moves look bad. So yeah, now he's going for this.
Oh,
sort
he's
of
he's just going for it.
I honestly don't see. Oh yeah, okay. The guy is very very deep, very deep. I think we are forced to take. So otherwise we can just resign. Now we'll go queen d5 check. No, rook c2. Yeah, even yeah, much better. Bishop d2 is good. It seems like the only move, and now he wants to go c3 probably, but well, or queen d5. Yeah. Okay. My impression that he's probably playing the best moves constantly. So I think like we have to go with the king. Let's choose some square.
I'm gonna do it. I'm just committing. I'm just gonna commit. Oh, that was bad.
It's okay. It's okay.
Right.
I think he would have beaten us anyway. Let's just forget about.
Might be time. Yeah. How do I resign here? Where's the
I
button?
think on the right of the username. And I will try to play a little bit more.
Oh, there it is.
solid.
Resign.
That's part of the reason I'm playing. I like to put a 2000 barrier. And I have nothing bad to say about this particular opponent, but it's just like too much of a coincidence that whenever they have the GM or IM title and I see their real name, they suddenly play badly sometimes. And when they don't, they play perfectly, very occasionally.
What's the implication there?
Well, some people are just able to play perfectly all the time. And that's not necessarily the case with this opponent, but it happened to me too often when I played those who are anonymous. So.
Oh, he's gonna let me do it. My favorite opening. Here it comes.
King's Indian for white.
No. You're about to see the wrath of my favorite opening of all time. You ready?
Nice, the 4 pawns.
When I'm feeling real frisky, I'll go for the 5-pawn attack, which is terrible.
On the right or on the left side?
On the right. It has never worked once, but I am committed to making it work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced that the grandmasters just haven't found the winning.
Okay, so now
the winning.
The typical move before you play it. Can you tell me?
So what's the question now?
What do you think is the typical response for this move?
Probably to push the pawn, I think.
That's true. Space is very important in chess. So you have a space advantage, but the flaw is that he can probably attack your pawns quite easily with his pawns and try to put pressure on the center. So it's a very dynamic position. Now
Let's get our knight out. Let's get our knight out here.
Exactly. Okay, now I'm quite happy we only lost like 20 points against that other guy. Because sometimes it can cost like more than 100.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
See, I love this. These games are so fun to me. For whatever reason, this position is just so much fun to me. Yeah, do you get that? Like, is your experience with chess that you have some openings that you just fucking love? Excuse my language. But you just like really prefer to play more than the other ones?
This is a weird move by him. I also like playing like this when my pawns are coming for him very quickly at the opening. And technically we could play e5 and try to be aggressive, but I want to be educated. Let's develop the bishop to the center, like they normally do. In the previous stream, I mentioned like the central square. I don't know if you remember, like the 16 squares in the center.
Yeah.
So this is where you want your light pieces, which are the bishops and the knights.
Okay.
And
wait, knights are light pieces?
Yes, knights and bishops are light pieces, and queens and the rooks are heavy pieces.
Oh, I had it explained to me that a bishop is worth 3 1/4 pawn, and a knight is worth. Have you heard that logic before, where they talk about the material, the numerical value?
Yeah, it depends on the level, but that's kind of true. But depends on the position. So now he has no threat as far as I can see. But
Yeah, I don't think this guy's playing very well.
yeah,
I don't feel intimidated.
So if he has no threat, maybe
I'm gonna castle.
you could, but I mean, just it feels a little bit safer to just ask this knight politely, where does he want to go next?
All right, get out of here.
Yeah.
Time for you
And
to
now
leave us.
It's also a good psychological move because if he goes back, he's kind of admitting a mistake. So very often
Yeah.
they don't want to admit a mistake and they go nuts.
That's called tempo, right? For people that are casual players that are watching.
Yes.
Whoa! Look at you go.
So he's.
Well, we got to address that.
He's giving up the bish. It's not.
So I should still castle here.
Yeah. There's no reason to go wild. We will get our chance to play e5 probably on the next move if he doesn't do anything special. And I feel like. Well, e5 is the natural follow-up, even now that he doesn't attack the knight, because we want to expand in the center.
I had you muted for a second there. So I could push here, right?
Yeah,
e5?
Yeah, e5 is a good way to grab more space and expand in the center. And from dynamic point of view, like a logical follow-up will be f5, followed by bishop h6 and trying to launch all your pieces on the king side.
Just to be clear, go ahead.
Okay, so now you don't even have to sacrifice anything. You can just open up your bishop and grab more space, yeah?
Yeah, I was thinking about grabbing with the knight, but it's worth more to us to open up that diagonal for that dark squared bishop, right?
Yes.
He's got to move his knight probably if he wants to get out of this. So like knight to c7 or something.
Yes. So
or maybe knight to g7.
So I'll try to explain the difference between the knight and the pawn in a moment. But okay, he has a small threat, but you can just develop with tempo and ignore it for the moment. So
I could just push that pawn though, right?
It's possible, but I mean, if you can develop with tempo, it's almost always a good idea. You can there's only one piece. Yeah, exactly, and you threaten the rook. If he's taking on d5. He's also opening up the position for you to attack him because you have a huge lead in development. You have much more pieces outside. Yeah, so now this is a good time to ask ourselves. I was asking myself silently, but in my heart, but this is a good time to say it out loud. What is he threatening?
So he's threatening Well, he's threatening a pawn. He's threatening that pawn on d5.
Yeah, and of course there are many ways to deal with it, but I like keeping the tension if possible. So I don't want to release the tension by moving the pawn forward or something like this, because the pawn prevents his knight from developing. So
what if I do that then?
Exactly.
It was either that or c2. I couldn't figure out which one I liked more there.
In chess, it's usually better to move forward. I know it sounds simplified, but it's actually working. If you can't find a proof for going forward being bad, then you should do it. And now again, I don't see a threat as far as I'm concerned, because the X-ray of the rook on your pawn on e5 is not doing anything. It's protected by the knight. So again, no threat.
What if I develop my rook to the d file? What if I line up my? Is it a good idea to put my queen on c2?
It is, but I feel like where do you actually want your queen to be eventually? Imagine a very good square for it.
Maybe f3.
True, but imagine far inside his camp. Which nice square would you like?
Either f6 or h6.
True. So how do you get there?
That's a good question. What if I go bish to g5 and then eventually to f6?
It's possible, but you don't want to move backwards. I think about bringing your queen to f6 in a very aggressive way, and try to imagine a very nice route for the queen. It's not only about f6, there is also another square that you want to reach in along the way. So I'm thinking...
What about knight to h4?
It's good, but I prefer to move the queen now, because this is the piece we haven't developed. and I want to reach f6. It takes 3 moves. Can you imagine the path?
Queen to d2, queen to g5, queen to f6.
That's perfect. And by the way, before you make it, I even like more the path from e1 to h4 to f6. Because from h4, it's like stirring up the h file, and then you have some knight g5 ideas.
Oh.
So this is a very typical attacking move in this structure. When he has a fianchetto, you see like h7, g6, f7 with the pawns. So it's very typical to go queen e1 to h4. And
just to be clear, he's getting kind of stomped right now, right? His position's not very good.
yeah, I don't envy him at this point. And I feel like you don't even have to find strong moves. You just have to keep bringing a new piece while reacting to his threats if he has any.
Yeah, he's got a bishop that's doing nothing. He's got a knight that's doing nothing, and he's got a rook on the end that's doing nothing.
Yeah,
and he's got a. Oh, there he goes. Okay, now he's got some ideas. What if I just put a stop to that by hitting a4, pawn a4?
That's a very mature move. You can go.
Prophylaxis.
That's true. You're already like breathing prophylaxis.
Or
That's
I can ignore that and just continue with my plan with the queen.
Both are fine, but the prophylaxis is more like putting a nail in the coffin, yeah?
All right, prophylaxis, let's go.
It's nice to attack while preventing every little bit of counterplay. Like this way, you don't only beat him, you're also like destroying every hope of survival.
Yeah, we like that. That's good.
Yeah. There is a famous quote of Fisher. I'm not sure exactly about the words, but the general idea was that someone asked him, "What's your favorite part of the game?" And he was saying something along the lines of the moment of the game when the light is shutting off in my opponent's eyes.
Yeah.
And he loses all hope. Well,
did you see the Queen of Katya?
Of Katwe, yeah, I didn't yet.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it sounds good. So does he have a threat?
He does, yeah. Why don't I just take that?
It's a good move, yeah. And yeah, I feel like there's no reason to avoid it.
I'm doing it.
It's also with tempo, because if you were to protect the bishop, you would have wasted a move. And then, so he had the knight already in the defense. You had like 4 pieces looking at his king. So by exchanging it, now you have 3 versus 0 in a way. The attacking ratio is still in your favor, so you can continue your plan of bringing the queen. Now if you get queen f6, it's game over. This is called a Swiss cheese mate.
It has a name?
Yeah, because like the holes in his position are like a Swiss cheese. And this is one of the things they teach you when you're like a little boy who goes to chess activities after school. The names of all the different mates. So
I always thought fried liver was one of the coolest names in chess.
yeah, agreed. But it's a name of an opening, and well, I heard it only like 1 year ago for the first time, and yeah.
The fried liver attack?
Yeah, the name I wasn't aware of it. So okay.
Oh, I got a good move. I got a good move here. You ready? Boom.
Exactly. So you wanted to do it earlier, but you see now it comes with like not even 1 tempo. It's 2 tempi.
2 tempi.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You bring your bish to f6.
Yep.
Yeah, and
he should put his queen on f8, right?
That's true. That's the only way to avoid fast resignation. But then you can continue the same plan of bringing the bishop. But okay, you don't need to rush with the bishop to h6. Actually, you can focus. I also have a knight that's ready to. Oh, he's done. Okay, he didn't prevent it. Yeah, and
he's
now
Munro.
queen h6 is obviously a huge threat for the next move, and he might try knight d7 and take on f6. But then if you just take with a pawn, the threat is still there, and queen g7 mate will just follow.
Yeah.
And well, I don't even see a way to prolong the game.
You like to prolong it?
I mean, for him.
Oh, I see.
I mean, we can always prolong the game, but if if we're winning, but it's not a very common thing to do. So, you know, some
This is
people
it.
like it. Some people like to like torture their opponents when they are winning, but I
Yeah.
don't. I'm not like Fischer in this regard. I don't think like Caruana. If you know the name, he's I believe number 3 in the world at the moment. And Fabiano Caruana, he represents the US and he's participating in the US Championship nowadays. And he was asked like 2 days ago in the interview if he's like Fischer and if he wants to torture his opponents. And he said, no, I just want to beat them. I don't care if they suffer or not. So
That's good.
yeah, that's the way I like to approach it. You just want to win.
You're done, buddy. You're done.
Yeah, baby. Queen G7 is coming.
And there it goes.
yes.
All right, our first win.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Good game, and let's keep the games on a calm note, like it was here. Okay, it probably didn't feel so calm from your opponent's perspective, but
No.
it wasn't like highly theoretical as far as I
All
can
right,
tell.
let me call out some people on my stream real quick.
Sure.
1 second here.
Okay, so we are waiting for the next game to start. Hutch didn't press the button yet, so he doesn't lose on the first 20 seconds. It's a good call. Let me see if everything is fine with my stream. So, alright. Seems like everything is working fine. Okay, so the move has been played.
All right, let's go.
Yes. Okay.
I don't like e4. Let's just.
Yeah, e5, the classical way to respond. Now he's attacking your pawn, you develop while
Yep.
defending it. This is
Yep,
called
yep.
the Rui Lopez. And now,
Yep.
yeah, I showed you the theoretical idea here of playing a6 and then knight f6. I'll just say the moves. Probably the explanation
B-
will come on a second.
b4 is the move here, right?
Wait. Knight f6 on move 4,
Or
yeah?
b5.
No,
Oh,
first
knight f6?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so now you want to go b5. And, well, you have a choice. You can put your bishop out to c5 or play d6 and try to put your bishop on the long diagonal with the fianchetto.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I like to put my pieces in the center as well. And, yeah, it feels much more natural than to stare at your own pawn on e5. And now you want to strengthen the center. Yeah, because if you castle, then after d4, there is some potential to force some.
Should I do the same here, h6, just to prevent that pin? That pin's annoying.
In this particular case, well, you can do it. Yeah. I don't see a reason to avoid it. It's not. I mean, it might be okay to play without it, but better safe than sorry. Okay, castles. That's good. Now don't rush.
Yep.
So
Do I want my light squared bishop on the long diagonal? It's open, you know, why not?
Yeah, you can do it, but I mean the regular plan here. Okay, there's no reason to avoid bishop b7, so you can just go for it. And
Alright,
well,
okay.
then the regular plan here in this structure, I've shown it to you in the previous streams, is to bring your knight from c6 to g6. So normally in here the classical way is from e7 to g6. But you don't want to do it straight away because then d4 will be unpleasant. So the way to play here is maneuver slowly. By the way, the name of this structure is many times referred to as Guico Piano, and this means slow game in Italian. So
Okay, I like the slow games.
yeah, so we need to maneuver. So okay, but he doesn't care. He just wants to force the game. Obviously, it's not such a great move because he moved the same pawn twice before developing all of his pieces. And you don't want to release the tension, remember? You want to keep it, because he's not threatening to take your pawn on e5, only your bishop. So you move 1 or 2 squares backwards, depending on your what you prefer. And I mean, sometimes my intuition prefers one move over another, but it's hard to explain like
Yeah, no, I understand.
logically. So I'll just like in those cases I'll just let you follow your gut feeling.
Yeah.
And so here d takes e5 is not a big threat. Okay, he is releasing the tension. Remember, it's in the favor of the one who is not releasing the tension usually.
And we're gonna continue our plan of coming over
Yeah.
here, right?
He's like forcing you to do what you already want. So now again, no threat. You can continue. Another possibility was to play c6, but now wait a moment. Bishop a7 is kind of an idea. And by the way, my intuition was to put the bishop on b6 because now we would have had probably some c6 related ideas. But in both cases, it's fine for you. So you have like two choices. Either you let him take and you take back with the rook.
We don't want that.
Go back on the next move and continue playing slowly. Or you can take...
I don't want to lose the tempo. I'm going to take it.
So you can take it. I mean, rook takes e3 is not so annoying. He pre-moved. Yeah, now we have two general ideas. Either we play on the king side slowly with the knight and queen, or we push c6 and try to punish him for being so, let's call it, aggressive in the center.
Let's punish him.
Okay,
what'd you say, c6?
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the pawn break that you have. He moved this same pawn thrice already, yeah? 3 times he moved the d pawn. So you just want to exchange it, and like from philosophical point of view, if he takes and you take, like he kind of lost 3 moves in the process. He invested 3 more moves in that pawn than you invested in the c pawn. So they're just like these moves are just gone basically.
Right. Yeah.
And so it feels like it should benefit you. Again, no threat. Exchange is the a pawns is not that bad for you.
No, yeah.
So normally I would like to continue in the same fashion with the pawn break on d5, but I'm a little bit afraid that the e5 pawn is a little bit loose. I mean, we might be able to get away with it, but exactly, this is like the more educated way to deal with the situation. Now it will be overprotected, and d5 is your next move, almost regardless of what he does. And
what was my next move? I missed you there.
The pawn break on d5 is the natural follow-up.
Why is that natural?
Because the d6 pawn is backwards and it's a little bit of a weakness, so you kind of get rid of your own weakness by doing it. And well, I don't see a reason to avoid it. You're still leading by development, so opening up the center is in your favor also.
But I lose a pawn here, don't I?
I think that you don't by tactics. As far as I can see, you can avoid losing the pawn.
You just push anyways here? Push on d5, huh?
Yeah, because if he takes, you can take with the knight and you have a tempo on the rook. And if he takes with the rook, you can take the rook with the knight, so you win the exchange.
Alright.
So he doesn't, as far as I can see, I might be wrong, but I don't think he can get your pawn without losing material in the process. And so d5 was a very good pawn break. Of course, he avoided allowing your knight to d5. Now there are several interesting options. The one that looks the most tempting to me is d4. And if he puts the rook on d3, the knight f4 will be a fork on the queen and the rook, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he can avoid losing material. I think he can take and then go rook b3, but it looks awkward for him. Or maybe put it on a3, but yeah, in both cases I really dislike his position. The knight is coming to f4 almost no matter what he does, and
I've been wanting to do that for like the last few moves, but then there he went for it.
Exactly. So
see, now if I okay, never mind. No, this is good. This is good.
Yeah, I mean, were you considering another move, knight takes e4 or something?
No, I was thinking about if he just takes rook takes pawn here, but then I would just take queen takes rook and then get his queen anyways with my knight.
Yeah, that's true. You win the exchange, but tactically there is an even stronger order to do it because knight takes e2 happens to be a check. So After rook takes d4,
Oh,
knight e2.
that's yeah. I
I
see.
mean, you don't have to see all the details as long as you feel that it's good for you, and like you need to.
But that's where I get into trouble when I just feel like it's the right move, because 99% of the time it's not the right move.
Well, there's a nice story I'll tell you in a moment, but
All right.
let's do it. I'll tell you while he's thinking. So for the moment we can take, and I feel like e4 is hanging. I don't see a reason to avoid capturing it. Just have, like with the knight, normally I would prefer not to give up the bish. Yeah, I mean it's not bad, but you just have to be thoughtful of the bish.
I did not think about the bish at all.
So
see, I'm up on the exchange here. Why don't I just
exchange? Yeah, but actually, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just take. It's okay. Yeah, I mean,
You think?
There is no reason to avoid exchanging the queens.
All right.
And then, like, you can develop the rook with tempo. The rook from a8, exactly. If he moves the knight to c6, you can go rook c8 with another tempo. So you're an exchange up. Rook c8 feels like the most natural move. I mean, there are other options, but for example, rook d2, but I like playing with tempi. Okay, takes, you kind of have to react. Yeah, and now, well, you can force another exchange sooner or later, because many pieces are hanging for him. So either he takes on e4 now, or he goes knight b4 or knight d4, and you go rook c4 and force an exchange. It's almost winning a piece, but he can exchange the bish for the knight, which is good for you.
Is tempo the plural version of, or tempi the plural version of tempo? Is that what you're doing there?
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
In Italian, yeah. So
now I can attack him again, right?
Yeah. So that's a funky way of doing it. I like it.
Oh no!
Okay. It's not that bad, but you forced an exchange, but you didn't get his bish. You got the knight. It's still fine, of course. Just I prefer to exchange the bishop. Okay, now what I would normally do is to try to exchange his rook, but how? So that's a great way to do it. I would prefer to be sneaky about it though. So for example, if he moves king h2, I would go rook d2 to attack the pawn, and only after rook b1 I would go rook d1. So the rook will not have a chance to go away. Do you see?
Okay. Yeah.
So so my sneaky way of doing it was to start with rook d2, but yeah, it's either way. We have to just beware of his threats and keep asking ourselves.
There's no sneakiness in my play. It's just what you see is what you get.
Just be careful of like back rank mate, yeah? Because at the moment the bishop is keeping an eye on.
Yes, yeah, I see that, yeah.
Okay, so now he's attacking your pawn. There is a way to defend it while attacking his pawn. This is also good, but rook b4 was a little bit more active.
Oh, yeah, I see it now, yeah.
I mean, it's not like a bad move or anything, but again, tempi is gold. Okay, so now let's be educational. You want to go like g6, king g7, as we mentioned in the past, waiting moves. And you don't even have to be afraid because all your pieces are on dark squares. There's no chance you will even attack one of them. So I'm just gonna go king g7. Don't do it, but even a pre-move would work in this case because you cannot even attack anything. So now, if it was my move, I would go probably h5, trying to grab some space. The usual waiting moves. Again, he has no threat. h5. If it's my move, again, I'll go h4, grabbing more space. It's a good idea. Okay, he went h4 himself. Now if you go f5, I think h4 will be hanging. So
looks like it, huh?
It's a little bit weakening, but it's worth it if you can get his pawn with check. So,
it's definitely worth it. Yeah.
It's not a good positional move to play f5, but yeah, it's worth the pawn as mentioned. So be careful to open up your king. Even when you're leading by material, it can be dangerous. So now, okay, but obviously we can bring our king to the center later on, and it will be safe with no queens on the board. Okay, so we can take. There's no reason to avoid it, and probably go back to d4. There's nothing wrong about it.
Yeah, that's what I was
If he gives a
thinking
check,
too.
you can block with the rook on d7. You can also go king f6, but I like to avoid checks altogether. Yeah, now we can go h4 check, grabbing more
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
He was probably gonna go king h3, and then there is a nice trick. You can go rook d1 with a double threat. Do you see it?
Rook b1 with
D.
the oh, I see. Yeah, wouldn't that be sneaky?
So he fell for it. So you attack the bish, and there is also a mate in one. So these kind of tricks are just supposed to pop to your mind when you play enough games.
Oh, you let me do it.
Yeah. Okay, he had no choice. He had to give up
Alright, there we
something,
go.
and he had a good priority. He preferred the bish over the king. So
All right.
he knows
GG.
the
Well,
importance.
questionable decision making, but still.
Well, maybe he decided he had enough. Who knows?
There is such a thing as loving the bish too much.
Yeah. Some people
Yeah.
also love the knights. Yeah. So, okay. In the opening, once again, just to avoid complications, I'll offer the moves. Okay, you can play your favorite opening, but in case we enter some theory, I need to spend some time thinking about how to avoid theory, because I never actually was like teaching beginners how to play openings. I'm sure there are some sneaky openings to keep it safe. This is not a regular way to deal with the center, because he could have taken and then he had some tempi on your
Okay.
pieces. But okay, never mind. Just you need to strengthen the pawn with another pawn before allowing him to capture.
But couldn't I just capture it right back with my knight? Or?
Yeah, then he had e4 with tempo on the knight.
Oh.
So
yeah.
anyway, let's just develop. No need to make it complicated. We can develop.
You say you like to develop knights before bishops, right?
Yeah, but in this case, not necessarily, and I'll explain later.
All right, I'm just gonna do it.
We're just gonna castle as quickly as possible, and the reason is that in this kind of structure, we might want to go c5 before developing the knight later on.
Oh.
So now we can probably castle, and we want to go c5 at some point. So for example, if he goes e3, c5 is a good move, and only then developing the knight. Another option is to go b6, bishop e7, and then put the knight on d7. Yeah.
Yeah.
But generally, it's important to know that the knight on c6 with the pawn on c7 like this is very bad positionally. I'm not sure how to explain why, but it has something to do with pawn breaks, because you will not have a useful pawn break afterwards. So now you have a choice. You can go either b6 or c5, and both are quite good for black.
I usually do c5 here.
Sure. He's probably going to take on c5. It's the most logical follow-up, because it forces your bish to move twice, but he didn't go for it. Okay, now you can choose. You can either move the knight to the center or take on d4 first. I prefer to keep the tension. And
Oh, did I do that wrong?
No, it's great. It's great. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it looks scary. It looks scary.
I thought you told me to go to. Oh, that's all right.
I said like you have two options: either capture or knight c6. But knight c6 like doesn't release the tension. So
I think you got a text message over there.
yeah, I put it on silent mode, but who knows what's going on with technology nowadays.
Way to be professional, Tal.
Yeah.
Way to be professional. Look at you, Mr. Aggressive. Move the same piece twice in the opening guy.
Yeah, so the way to punish normally is to open up the center. So, and he's also going to have an isolated pawn. He would prefer to capture back with pieces. So if you take the pawn on the center with the c pawn, c takes d4, then he is forced to take back with the pawn. And well, it's not necessarily bad, but it's kind of a compromise, because and this is another small compromise. You have to take the knight, but he's kind of strengthening your center. So just like I said earlier, he moved his knight 3 times, and you moved it once. So he kind of threw 2 tempi into the abyss. So I feel like here he has no threat, and you can develop which
My
piece.
bish.
Yeah,
Bish.
exactly.
My bish.
Where
So the best spot is probably B2, right?
there's an B7, but there's a better spot.
You think A6 is
Yeah.
better?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. All right, let's do it.
So
Oh, because if he takes that pawn, then I can mess up his ability to castle on that side.
exactly. That's the
Okay,
point.
alright.
Now you want to take on c4 and also gain a pawn, and while opening up the center, which is generally good when leading in development. And even though I didn't mention the questions, I was once again I have to stretch that I was like to stress that I was focusing on his threats before every recommendation. Yeah. So now he has a threat, right?
He's threatening my bish. We can't allow that.
And the pawn, but you can develop the queen while protecting both.
I sure can.
But yeah, it's funny. This move, I'm sure you missed one of his options, but it's still good for you. So he has this tactical option of c5, which you had to anticipate. Otherwise, you lose a piece.
Of course, I anticipated it.
Yeah. Do you see your response against it?
Let me think. Yes, you take the pawn.
Exactly.
Take the pawn on B2.
With tempo on the rook and the knight, and he fell for it.
What up, sucker?
You know, it happens to me quite often, even when playing against other grandmasters online, where I play one move by intuition, I miss his response, and then I just have a very powerful follow-up. And it's like the brain knows.
This is not. Yeah, I'm not there yet, but hopefully we can train my instincts to get there.
Well, you kind of proved that you are in this particular case. Queen b6 was a very active move, and well, I feel like
Yeah, not a good position for him right now. He's in kind of a jam, huh?
yeah, his only move to keep the pieces intact is rook c1, and then probably you can prevent him from castling. And well, pawn up as well. Okay, he missed.
Oh, you messed up.
Well, actually, it's a very powerful move because, and I have to admit, I completely missed it. Now after bishop d2, it looks like the queen is trapped, but I see a defense for you. I see a defense.
Okay, let me find it. Let me find this defense.
But don't play it. Just tell me before you do. It looks like a very strong defense. Once again, we play the move without seeing his response, but there are hidden resources in the position. So you cannot run away with the queen, but you have a strong intermediate move. In German, they call it Zwischenzug. This is the professional term, if I'm not wrong. So
it wouldn't be bishop to b4, would it?
5. It is.
Bishop
It
to
is.
b5.
Because
But then he just takes with the rook. Oh, okay.
you see, like
Yeah.
every single piece of his that will capture will open up some lines for your queen to escape. And he has no squares to run away with the queen because it will let you capture on a3. So this is a very powerful defense. And well, I have to admit that queen b6 was also my choice of move, even though I didn't calculate. And as you've seen, like intuition can be very strong sometimes, and all you have to do is like, believe in the power of the bish in every position.
In chess, as in life,
Yes.
I think you could say.
Although
Let me say what's up to my stream real quick.
Sure.
Hold on 1 second.
All right, so I muted myself for a moment. So from his side, so as you can see, his queen is also kind of trapped. It can only go to d1, and then we can take on a3. And for the moment, we are a piece and a pawn up. Okay, his opponent made a move.
Okay, so he took that.
Okay, so do you see your move? Don't play.
Yes.
Tell me first.
No, I don't see it.
Okay, you can still.
Wait, hold on. Let me think about it.
You can. It was the point. of this last move. Your queen is still trapped, but you can still keep attacking his queen with tempo.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, I figured.
Yes, and now no matter what he does, you can move the queen to c4 or to a better spot if he lets you. So for example, he could let you take on d4 or a3. But, or for example, if rook takes b5, you can go queen a1 check. So it's funny, like your queen was trapped, he had a very nice idea, but you know, there is this saying, I'm not sure if it's like an actual saying or if I just heard it from friends, but like when the strategy is right, then tactics work your way, whether you see it or not. Okay, so he's attacking your bishop on e7, right?
Yeah, what if I move my knight to e4 and attack his bish?
It's a nice idea, but I prefer to develop with tempo. Do you see a way to develop?
Rook to f8 to e8?
It's possible, it's a great move, but there is an even more aggressive way to develop. Even more powerful. Rook f8 does the job, but there is a stronger move which I want you to consider.
I'm not seeing it.
So you can move the rook to an active square, and then after he captures your bish, you can have some nice...
Oh, okay, yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah,
I gotcha, Tal.
Yes.
I gotcha.
And by the way, one of the most difficult questions in chess is which rook to move to this square. In this case, I don't think it matters, but just keep it in mind. Like, sometimes there are differences. I think you chose the better rook, even though, yeah, he would probably have to take anyway. Yeah, he finally...
So now, he didn't castle. All right.
Okay. So, do you see a nice idea now? Because...
Yep. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. And now he has to separate from another piece. So,
Oh, he's in trouble now.
yeah. So this game, even though I didn't mention it quite a lot verbally, I'd like to believe we were asking ourselves like, what is he threatening on each move? And
yeah. No, I have. Oh, look at him go.
Okay, the only threat is bishop takes bishop, so you can just continue.
Just take...
Exactly, and if you go c7, just rook c8, and yeah, everything will fall. Good. I don't think it matters. Just be careful from like back rank mate. So I'd probably yeah. Just to be safe, I mean, without giving up material, I would play h6. Yeah. If he goes rook a1, I will go rook takes b4 first. But just to be safe, I'll go h6 or even g6. And okay, now I'll just go make a window for the king just to secure everything. Okay, and yeah, now rook b4 is the best way to kill the pawn, yeah, from behind. And now, by the way, there is a nice tactic. Obviously, you can give up your a4 pawn, but
oh yeah, I see.
Well, let me ask you. The first thing that you have to check is what happens if you play rook takes b6.
Well, I doubt he would take the a pawn because that's a back rank mate.
Exactly. So that's the way.
Yeah. So
you're getting rid of it, and on the next move you can play a3, and the bishop will protect.
Oh, he just resigned.
Yeah.
There we go.
So yeah, it's already like 2 pieces and 2 pawns down. So.
Well, yeah. we just hit 1,000 viewers in the stream. Do you want to plug your properties while we're...
Yeah, probably it's a good
idea.
We're here. Thanks. So first of all, for those who don't know, I have a YouTube channel of my own, and I have I'm streaming the same thing as we speak, and well, I'm not too sure even what I want to plug. I don't really care too much about those things, but I have a Patreon page. If someone cares about improving their chess and wants to support my channel in the process, it's probably a good idea to visit my Patreon page. You can see it in the description to my video. And yeah, that's more or less it for now. I mean, just I do regular chess videos on my channel.
Yeah, one of my wonderful mods made a Tal command in Nightbot, so punches that in, and then there's your YouTube, there's your Twitter, there's your Twitch right there. So
Nice. I still have
All
to
right.
figure out how to use Twitter, but yeah, I'm sure I will.
it's not too complicated, I assure you.
Yeah, chess is easier. I'll never understand hashtags.
I actually just oh, look at the chat. Look at the chat, and they're not happy with me in the chat there. Menetrend says, "Why is this Hucky cheater still playing?" LOL, can't you cheat if you watch YouTube? Did they read the fine print of the tournament, or what did they? Do you think they just missed that part?
No, I think people just enjoy using these words in context with internet chess.
Well, some players in there went, "Oh, he blitzed. He did the thing. He only has 5 minutes.
Yeah, berserk.
He berserked."
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't rush. Don't rush.
I'm not gonna rush.
Yeah. So now we want to develop another knight, as usual.
I was gonna develop
Okay.
my bish.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's go on a more solid approach. Okay. I don't want to
What are
go
we-
crazy. Let's just take on d5.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I can read your mind probably. Yeah. Okay. Now you can do
Yes.
it. And now we don't gambit anything. We don't care about any complications. You develop the pawn, like the bishop to d3. Everything is fine. Bishop d3.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. I mean, you just want a castle. There's nothing special.
All
Now
right.
you go to h4 probably. I mean, just there is no reason to do anything special. I don't know why I'm avoiding the questions. I guess I consider it obvious, but maybe some of the viewers don't understand everything. So for
Would
the
it be good
moment-
to just offer the exchange here? Because he doesn't have a threat yet.
So exactly, I'm asking myself, is threatening anything? No, because the h2 pawn is protected by the knight. So the next question is which piece doesn't work. The next one that you need to develop is your queen.
Yes. Did it.
Exactly, perfect square. That's the square I would have chosen, and probably the best one in this structure in general. Now again, no threat. Which piece do you want to develop? Ideally to the open file, but which one?
We're gonna go with this one right here.
Both are interesting. It's hard to say. Sometimes you want the other rook on b1, sometimes you want him on e1. So yeah, he avoided your
see.
threat. You were threatening knight b5. So good job on his part, but his development is a little bit lacking.
What
Now-
about A3? What about A3 and then B4?
Perfect. That's what I was about to offer, and I actually didn't know even how to imply it. So good job. I had no idea how to imply this move. I just wanted to say that there is such a thing called a minority attack, where you go b4, b5 in this structure, but it's complicated to explain. Okay, now that he played a5, I think a typical move would be knight from c3. You want to land on c5, yeah? And,
Want to land on C5. Okay.
yeah, but you want
then
to be careful.
Oh, okay.
You want to be careful. Because if you play knight a4, he has knight to e4. So you don't want to go with your knight to the side voluntarily. So for the moment, let's just make a useful waiting move with the rook.
We'll do a waiting move. How about
Yeah.
boom right there.
Yeah, and another waiting move that might be useful, because the bishop on h4 is not doing much, is just to go to g3. And to see what
And
happens.
just offer him that trade there.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to explain, but it's just that you want to, like, this bishop is not doing much, and his bishop on d6 is probably his best piece, yeah? So
Yeah.
it's like a good trade. And okay, I have a way to explain it. Like, almost all of your pawns in the center, all of them basically are on dark squares. So your dark squared bishop is weak. Okay, and he's forcing you to play the move I was telling you you're gonna play anyway, so yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
So now you understand why g5 is a positional mistake, yeah? He's basically wasting a move and opening up his king.
Yeah.
Okay, so now again, no threat, as far as I can see. I have a funky idea that I don't want to tell you, but I'll imply, okay? You remember what was your plan like 2 moves ago?
2 moves ago, my plan. Yes, I do.
So
It was B4.
So the reason you couldn't do it was you could have taken and then taken with the bishop, right?
Uh-huh.
Can you still do it?
Can he take what with the bishop now? Say it again.
The reason you didn't play before is because...
Oh, no, yeah, he can't do that. Yeah, I see.
Exactly. So you see there...
Because then it would open up an attack on his queen there.
Exactly, there is a pin. So there is a flaw in this move because the rook is open, but there is also an advantage. Okay, now you normally take towards the center.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you can get b5 in, and this is called a minority attack. And I can explain briefly while he's thinking, but he's not thinking much. So now the logical follow-up is to capture. And now usually there are two sequences, like two possibilities. Either he takes with a piece and d5 is weak, or he takes with the pawn, or c6 is going to be weak. So now c6 is going to be weak for a long time. You can, like now what you generally want to do is like bring the knight from f3
Yeah.
to a good square, but maybe first let's offer the exchange of rooks on the a file, because I don't like the pressure on the a file. And
all right.
Yeah, and
I've been looking at that. I've been looking at bring that knight to e5 for a couple moves here.
Yeah, but then you will have c5. It's a little bit annoying because your knight is hanging. So I'm thinking to just be solid for the moment. My next move is probably rook e to b1. Just slowly improving my pieces. Then maybe knight d2, maybe knight e5, depending on the position. Okay, so now we can follow up with what I mentioned. Just bring another rook to the open file. And I don't want to like have anything immediate. I just want to keep improving my pieces because I have a positional advantage. Actually has two main weaknesses. The first one is on c6. The second one is the fact that his king is open. Okay, no threats as far as I can see. There is some tension, but you don't need to release it. I think now is probably a good time to decide. I don't have a preference, knight e5 or knight d2, both are fine. As long as you improve this knight, it's gonna be fine.
Wait, knight to what now?
To e5 or to d2. Both.
Oh, okay. I thought you said d5 or d2.
No.
No, I like this. Let's go here.
Yeah, that's a good idea to go forward if possible. So now, okay, his only active move is c5, and that's the only reason I wasn't too happy about this originally. But then you had knight takes d7, so he's trying to prepare c5, which is a smart idea. And well, the logical way to avoid it, as far as I can tell, is to bring your own knight to c5. Do you know how to do it? So
to bring my own knight to c5. Oh, okay, yeah. To c5.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just be knight a4 to knight c5, right?
Exactly. And
okay.
Yeah, this is a typical way to improve the knight. And okay, there is something that I'm not sure I'll have time to mention in this game. I'll mention it afterwards. Okay, you can take with the rook probably. You don't want to be pinned. And well, I had to anticipate that the a4 knight is protected by the queen. Now, okay, he's attacking it. You can continue your plan. He's not attacking anything else other than the knight. I'm gonna rush a little bit because it seems like flagging is his main idea in this game.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he just berserked. So anyway, he's attacking your knight. Probably it's a good idea to take it because it's just opening up his king.
Yeah, loosens up his king down there.
You can already go with the rook all the way to give it a check.
That's what I was looking. Yeah.
Yeah. Rooks on the 7th are awesome in general.
Oh, this could get real bad for him in a second if he's not careful.
Yeah. You have a lot of tempi. It's funny, you don't even care about mating. You just like improve your pieces with tempi with every single move. Okay, now you just have to be careful about his ideas. His only idea is queen a1 check followed by knight g4 check, but your knight on e5 is protecting g4, so you're safe as long as you don't move the knight. I feel
what if I just take the pawn there?
No, forget about the pawn. What you want to do now is bring the bishop and the queen closer to the king side and attack. So that's perfect. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And the idea is that like you want to keep your knight on e5 to protect the g4 square, as I mentioned, from his knight.
I see.
And
I see.
So he has no counterplay. Basically, queen a1 check. You can go king h2. I mean, you also have rook b1 to protect, but you don't want to go backwards. So,
yeah, this is a really good position for me.
Exactly. Okay, you can continue your attack, exchange, and bring the queen. Don't rush.
Yep.
So now try to. Okay, this is definitely good, but you could have like forced the mate with checks. So you had rook f7 check, queen g6 check, and so on.
Ah, crap.
It's still completely winning, but just better not to rush. When you see that you can win, it's better to stop, breathe, and see, like, search for the best and most forcing way. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's
See,
still.
those are your instincts versus my instincts right there.
Well, it took me a lot of bad experience to become like experienced in a way. So
I understand.
yeah, I spent like many hours doing these mistakes as a child, and yeah, I guess it was fun though. It's fun to get excited and play like a winning move very quickly. And he actually resigned, which makes
There it
sense.
is.
Yeah, you're threatening too many things. It just it could like prevent mate for maybe 3 more moves than before. It's not such a big difference. So
Yeah.
this was a very good game. We basically didn't care too much about attacking, and we ended up mating him. But all we did was improving the pieces on every single move. And yeah, I feel like there's one thing I want to mention before you go back to the tournament. If you can.
Oh, I already
No, it's okay.
joined it.
It's okay. So I'll just mention. Well, it's hard to say during the tournament, but there is a concept in chess called the far post, and this is basically what your knight on c5 was. So if anyone cares, please put a definition in the description, and those who wish will be able to, not in the description, in the comments, will be able to read about it. So now,
All right, we have a little bit of an easier time of it here because this player is 1500.
yeah.
What's the best? Is queen to c2 here?
Queen to c2 is a good way to deal with it. It's a solid move. Another idea that I think can be easy to play is e3, followed by knight ge2, and then a3. That's probably the easiest to handle. So now you can just go knight ge2, and you just want to go a3, and okay, now not, but if you were to castle, you would have gone a3, taken with the knight. Yeah, exactly. Now you go queen c2. You don't want to weaken your pawn structure. You want to be able to capture back with pieces. But yeah, so he's trying to be aggressive, but I don't see why it should be good for him.
What about a3 right here?
a3 is very good. I don't see any reason to avoid it. And as I wanted to mention, you will get a pair of bishops, and it's very good in general.
So I want to take with my knight.
Well, I think taking the bishop is a good idea because you can take back with a pawn on c3. So you're like strengthening your grip at the center. The knight is also fine, but if he takes with the knight, I like taking with the pawn, so I don't have a bad pawn structure. Do you see why?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you take with the pawn, because had you taken with the queen and he took on c4, then you had a double b pawns.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so now you have the bishop pair for free. I feel really nice about our position. Okay, you can develop with tempo on h7.
I missed that part.
So
say it again.
You can develop with a threat, basically.
Yes, I see. Yes.
Yeah. Well, an interesting move for him will be to take on c4, but even if you take on c4, it will be in your favor because you open up the center for your bishops.
Why don't I take this and undouble my pawns there?
Okay, it's possible, but it wasn't going anywhere. So in a way, you release the tension. So it's not so bad, but it's not ideal. Okay, now we can castle. I would prefer to castle first just to give him a chance to make a mistake.
All right, okay.
But still, I mean, it's obviously a good move, opening up the position for the bishops. And now,
I like my dark square on b2.
Yes,
that would be nice.
So before playing with him to b2, probably you have a nice trick here that your opponent missed. Do you notice like some pieces that are hanging?
Oh yeah. You're talking about this right here?
Yeah, baby.
All right.
This is
fantastic.
Called a skewer, I think. I'm not sure if I pronounce it well.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Yeah, it's called a skewer.
Yeah. I read it in books like all these years. I never heard anyone pronouncing this word, but Yeah.
You say it like skewer. That's it. Skewer. Yeah.
Yes. So that was my main hope when I opened the YouTube channel, to learn English while the others will learn chess.
That is a dubious defense, I
Yeah.
have to say.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Okay.
Well,
So now, okay, don't need to rush. You can
we'll
develop. Okay, but this is good. And now probably what you want to do is be a little bit educated, let's call it this way. You want to double the rooks on the open file. Do you see a good square to put the a1 rook?
I do. Oh.
Perfect. And now rook f to a1. And okay, I'm not mentioning all the process of my thinking, but as it was before, it's the same. Only a bit faster and in my mind. What does he want?
Now,
Nothing. Okay, now he has a threat.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now he has a threat. Do you see it?
Yeah. Knight takes pawn on b4.
Yeah, so you want to simply move away from the threat, but don't rush. Like, as long as you don't hang your queen or put it in the same diagonal with the rook, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I understand. Okay,
But
let's do it this way.
Exactly. This is the move I wanted, but there were a lot of tricks. So, for example, queen d3, bishop c4 was another skewer.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and well, if he he's not threatening anything on the next move, you can go rook to a1, and yeah, that's generally a good idea. So he's doing a nice thing. He's closing your bishop, but
he's just prompting me to do the move I was gonna do anyways.
Exactly. That seems like the main hobby of your opponents in this tournament. Okay.
I have dark squared bish problems.
Yeah, you want to go with the queen backwards without any problems. I agree, but the knight is hanging for the moment, so I would prefer the queen probably on e1, so I had rook d1 now, but it's not a big difference. I feel like, okay, his only idea is probably to double the rooks. So I have a nice...
What if I do... I'm going to do a waiting move.
Great, that's what I wanted to offer. And well, he doesn't have a big threat at this point. Of course, it's a little bit passive for white, but he's not threatening anything, which is important.
I'm gonna do this.
Well, it kind of allows rook d2 with tempo. It's not.
Yeah,
so
but then
bad.
but then I see. I see.
But it's fine. I mean, still fine. But it's slowly getting into the risky zone. Okay, now let's go back. Go back to c1. And the move that I'm thinking about, that's like the most, the easiest, is just to go e4. The pawn goes forward, and you want to like open up the diagonal for the queen.
But he can force my queen off the board here.
Yeah, but you get two rooks, not one.
All right.
I'm
gonna trust you.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to get into time pressure, so I'm not going through the entire process. So basically, I'm asking myself, is threatening anything? And rook d1, I see that you can take, and if he takes, you can take with the rook. So,
yeah.
Okay, he played rook d2, and he didn't see that something that he had to see. Yeah, exactly. The rook had some job defending the knight, so it's becoming too much material. By the way, a nice move for white now would be rook c8 to force an exchange of rooks.
Rook to c8, but there's nothing protecting it though.
Yeah, but his rook on d2 is hanging.
Oh, yeah. How about that, sucker? So, yeah, this is not a good game for him. I don't know why he's not resigning.
Well, he's hoping for either some tricks or to win on time.
There's 6 minutes left? Come on.
Yeah.
What kind of amateur does he think I am?
Okay, now he's not threatening anything, so you can simply like bring the rook to the 7th rank. This is the best place for the rook. The other one, not the a rook, because you don't want to miss rook d1 check, yeah?
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah. So, okay, it's a slow process, but it will work eventually. Don't rush. You have like a lot of material advantage. Now the f2 pawn is hanging. It's a little bit annoying. He wasn't threatening anything, so there was like no reason to go into extreme. Anyway, now we probably want to be a little bit cautious. So, yeah, queen g5 hangs the bishop on b2. It's funny, it's still completely winning, but you you have to be careful. You're still like a queen up. After he takes the bishop, it's like a queen for a bishop. Okay, now he has no real threat. g2 is protected by the queen, yeah?
Looks like it.
Yeah, so I don't see a threat for him. I know it looks scary. Perfect. Perfect move. And if he moves, you have queen h6 check.
And then it gets real uncomfortable for him.
Yeah, I mean, it looked dangerous for a moment, but you handled it quite decently. And, yeah. Be careful now. You rushed a little bit, and after king f6, it's very important not to rush, because if you let him get rook g2, it will be a little bit annoying. Okay, but he...
It's just mate here,
yeah,
right?
he let you mate. If you went king f6, it was a little bit more complicated.
All right, we're on a little hot streak here.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It seems like the magical thing we had to do was to avoid opening complication. And yeah, it seems like.
Have you ever played against Jerry Chess Network? Have you heard of him?
Yeah, I played Bullet against him, and he's actually higher rated than me in Bullet at the moment. I'm not very good at this time control.
Oh, he's incredible at speed chess. He's real good.
I really admire this guy because he's basically taught himself from scratch. And I was like educated with this Russian Soviet school of chess. Oh, we're playing King Crusher. A YouTuber was.
Let's go.
Yeah, quite experienced, let's say.
Well, let's punish him. Let's punish him for berserking here.
Yeah, he always berserks. And it's
He's
funny,
gonna let me do it.
I have to tell some story about my last encounter with him. I was playing.
Oh, we're playing the Tsunami 2 times in one day. I feel incredible about this. All right.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
Sure. Don't rush. So we go the same way. Okay, let's deal the opening because he's playing so quickly in the opening. I'll tell the story in a moment.
All right.
Okay, so now the normal way is to defend from the pin while developing.
Yep.
Yeah. Then you want to castle next. And normally he has no threat. If he takes, you take with the c pawn.
Yep.
Yeah. And now he's threatening your pawn on e4, as you can probably see.
This is why this Tsunami sucks. I don't know why I keep playing it.
Okay, but now you have a nice way to defend it. So I don't want to tell you the move. No, pushing actually theoretically is a good move, but it's extremely complicated. I won't go into the theory, even though I know it. I don't want him to complain that he was basically playing against me. Which will be the case if we play e5. So let's go with the positional move. I won't tell you exactly what it is, but you can like provoke something that will help you defend the pawn.
H6?
Do you mean h3?
Yes.
Yeah, so you attack the bish, and if he takes, then you get a pair of bishops while defending. So this is the main theoretical option, yeah, and c4 is the correct theoretical move, as far as I know. And now normally what white does is to develop his bishop to the center. And
on e3?
Yes. And the normal move is something like rook to e1. Yeah, and after we get away from the theory, then well, I don't know if I should just imply the moves because it's becoming very complicated. But let's see. I'll challenge myself to let's say be educational about it. So, okay, so now he wants to go knight c5 and then to put it on d3, and it's gonna be a little bit annoying. And you don't want to give up your bishop for this knight.
No.
So probably a good way to deal with it is to attack the pawn on c4 somehow. Yeah. You don't want to go queen a4 because then he takes and takes your pawn on e4. So you have to attack the pawn on c4 in some other way.
With the bish or with the queen?
You want to go forward if possible, yeah?
All right, I'm gonna do this. It's probably not right. I'm sorry, Tal.
It's good, it's good.
That's it? That's the
Yeah,
one?
That's the one. If you went queen
Oh, okay.
d4, he would have had knight g4. It's not, yeah, so this is good. Yeah, now, again, he has a threat. I'll just tell you the threat and you can respond, okay?
Okay.
His threat is to go b4 as far as I understand.
Yes, yes.
So you want to respond. Like, prevent it somehow.
Yes.
Okay. He's probably gonna go rook c8. So he's very, very fast in the opening and he's quite a good player.
Yeah,
You can probably tell. So I'll quickly tell the story. I played under the same format with an international master friend by the name of Asaf Givon, and we streamed it. Exactly the same thing like we have today. And then we beat him, and he complained on Reddit about us playing together to beat him. So, yeah, we might want to be careful.
Who did? You and me?
No, me and an international master friend. We did a stream like a year before or something. I even talked to you. So, yeah, he has a threat. Bishop takes knight on c3. We probably want to develop the rook while protecting from his threat, yeah?
I sure do.
Yes. Okay, now he's threatening knight d3, which is definitely gonna be good for him.
Uncomfortable.
So, okay, my logical move to deal with it is probably going to be rook to move forward to c2 to avoid the threat. He's attacking the rook. Once again, we have to handle it, but actually he has some tactics, some annoying tactics on the way. He wants to play knight takes b2 on the next move and take with the bishop on c3. So you have to move the rook to defend from this threat.
I see.
There's another option, but it's not so good. Okay, we have to do it. We have to move the rook and defend. Black has a great position because we didn't play the most accurate moves in the opening. But we are gonna struggle for survival. Let's defend the b2 pawn if possible. Now if he takes, then we can double the rook. So he reacted nicely. And well, now again it becomes very sharp. I wish it were a little bit more positional, but okay, yeah. Now you have to move the rook. Exactly. Okay. He doesn't have a big threat that I can see except for knight takes b2 probably. So I would probably consider some way to deal with it. It's not easy even for me to come up with a move, so I don't know.
Yeah, we're definitely cramped here.
Yeah. I'm thinking, well, I want to go with the queen somewhere to deal with it, but I'm not sure where.
Well,
okay, let me offer a move. Queen to f1, see what happens. I don't know if it's good. Just, yeah, okay. Now my idea was to go rook a1, which he might have missed, I don't know. Rook a1, because a7 is hanging, yeah?
Yep.
Now, you will probably move the queen all the way back to d8. Because if queen c7, we had a tempo on a7. Okay, now it becomes extremely complex. Okay, I'm thinking about some form of a sacrifice. I think rook takes a7 is a decent move. Just activating the rook. Yeah, I apologize about telling you moves like this, but it's so dynamic and we have no time. And
yeah, you'd have to have a lot more time to explain all the variations here. Yeah. Should I just take that and take some of this tension off, or what?
Yeah, but we have to do something. Yeah, take the rook. I mean, his position is still okay, very good.
What about bishop to e2?
Well, it's very dynamic. I have to, like, we have to find a precise move. I think my suggestion is rook e2. And, well, apologies to Mr. King Crusher. I'll just suggest moves in this point. We cannot afford to lose on time. Okay?
Yeah.
If so,
okay.
let's take the pawn f5.
On f5?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. We want to be active if possible. So...
How do we get rid of these knights, man? These knights are annoying.
That's true, we cannot. Let's just go g4 and see what happens. g4, pawn g4, try to play for activity.
Going nuts.
Okay.
Getting nuts with it.
Yeah. King to h2, say. Something like this. I want to go get some activity somehow. So...
You want to open up... You want to... Should I just take this and open up the file? I'm gonna do it.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's fine. It's just so hard to play like under these time conditions.
Yeah.
When he's...
I need these. Oh,
so
there he goes.
Okay, let's go bishop e4 with tempo on his queen.
Yep.
Okay, rook to g2.
Yep.
I'm threatening bishop g6 to trap his queen almost, but okay, it's not fully trapping it, so... okay.
Why don't I just take that bish, man?
No,
Or
no,
take
no,
that...
don't.
No. Or not take the bish, but...
I think bishop g6 is okay. Bishop g6, forcing queen h4. And then...
Rook up.
Okay, he has no threat for the moment. So maybe queen f3. Just no, don't do it. Yeah, rook up. Okay, the move you offered is good. It's so complicated, and other than offering moves, I don't know what I can do. Okay, queen to g1. Let's see what we can do. We're probably gonna lose on time anyway, so let's hope he will take it as in a friendly manner, because he's playing in our tournament.
Yeah.
So
I want to push that pawn to f5, right?
Yeah.
Seems like a good spot.
Bishop d4 is one of the ideas. Another one is bishop f5 to e6. So, okay, he's attacking your bishop. Let's put it on b6 for the moment. Bishop e3 to b6. Because the knight is covering d4. Okay, threatening knight f3 check.
Yes.
Let's go bishop back to e4 to defend.
E4, all right.
Bishop e4. Knight takes e4 pre-move. Because he might sacrifice the queen to exchange.
All right. Okay.
This is a very funky game. It seems like he's joining a tournament.
I feel like I am playing incredibly well this game.
Yeah, I'm not feeling. It doesn't feel right, but I don't like it when people join just to win the tournament when it's supposed to be educational. But okay, I guess this is the point of tournaments. So okay, he has no real threat that I can see. I mean, knight f4 kind of is, but
I'm just gonna do something. Okay, I did it.
Yeah, you allowed queen f4 check.
Crap.
But, I mean, it's not lost yet, but it's kind of risky. Okay, I'll offer moves faster now. Okay. Okay, rook. No, wait. Okay, let's go bishop d4 and see what happens. Bishop d4. All the way back.
And
see what happens next. I'm not sure if it's good, but it looks like we have some threats. If it takes with the
Yep.
queen on f1, on f4, sorry, we should go probably
Yeah,
king
yeah,
h1.
yeah.
Okay, bishop takes g7, check. No,
Yep,
okay,
yep.
it's fine. He's gonna take with the queen. Yeah, you have to take with the rook. Knight f3 check. King h1. Yeah, now... yeah, exactly. And rook g6 next. Rook g6. Yes. King g2 if he gives a check. Okay, take on h6 and on d6 pre-move. Okay, rook c6. See what happens.
Okay.
Sorry about this.
I feel dirty too, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, knight e4. Okay, the situation in itself is okay. So maybe give a check on c7. Another check on c6 if he lets you, or on c8. Okay, c6 check. Back to c7 if he goes up. Yes, back to c7. Okay, knight f6. Yeah, knight h7 check, pre-move. We don't have time. Knight h7 check. I'll tell you pre-moves, generally speaking. Knight h7.
Okay.
Yeah, d6 pre-move. Rook e7. I think should be a good pre-move. Okay, depends on what he does. Okay, if he moves the knight f6. Okay, knight f6. Sorry. Okay, rook. He's go rook f2, and then you have to move the knight. Okay, it's threading mate. Rook d7 check. We're probably lost. Yeah, rook c7.
Oh,
and,
that's it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna compliment our beloved opponent in this game and apologize for what just happened. But I mean, the other option was to just resign. Yeah. And
yeah, we didn't want to do that.
I mean, the show must go on in some form. And okay, now after we've lost the game, we can compensate by being a little bit more relaxed.
All right.
And,
hopefully we won't play a what was he, a CM? What's a CM?
I think he's a candidate master. So
oh, I see.
Anyway, I was challenged in this game, and I honestly feel like he properly managed to beat me. So congrats. And
I think you mean beat us, Tal.
Yeah, but I know it's us, but I just want like if he happens to listen to this stream, I want him to know that I'm aware that I made a lot of moves on my own, and I feel like he played well. So anyway,
that's good. I like to see the rivalry between the talented players.
Yeah. I just it's funny that no matter what the conditions are, losing is painful, and
oh yeah, not fun. I hate it.
yeah.
All right.
So okay, now we can do exactly what we did in the previous game, and now we want to fianchetto the bishop, and on this game I'm going to go back to the educational mode.
You already helped me with this line. I didn't know what the right move sequence was for this line, so that's one thing I learned today.
Yeah, actually in this particular move order we could have played knight a5 and get rid of his bishop, and he prevented it, so good move on his part. Yeah, now we want to fianchetto the other bishop, normally speaking.
The double fianchetto, look at us.
Yeah.
We're just going nuts today, huh?
So I'm seeing on the chat that our opponent from the previous game just can't stop laughing on his own stream. And I feel like he is like trying to this is his like small revenge for having lost to us previously.
Oh no!
But,
well, you gotta give him this victory. He earned it.
Yeah, he earned it fair and square, and yeah. And now
fianchetto, right?
Yeah, I feel like I brought my own rivalry to your
I love it.
Feels,
Yeah, bring more. I want more rivalries. I want to be your conduit here.
I'm using like your stream to settle the score with people.
Oh no! What have you brought me into? The dark
Yeah.
chess underworld.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit it was fun. So being challenged is always nice. So now he wants bishop h6. You can avoid
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I see that.
So
How do I avoid that?
you can avoid it with tempo.
I can avoid it with tempo. I can avoid it
So
with tempo.
you can do something to
Oh,
prevent.
okay, yeah. I see.
Nice.
All right, okay.
So yeah.
And we still want a castle on this side, right? Or do we have to?
We don't have
That
to,
is-
but we kind of want to. So normally they go bishop h4 to keep the pin, and then the typical way to play is before you castle to go g5 and put the knight on h5, and then like you have a nice space advantage on the king side.
Yes. I missed that because I was listening to someone in the.
So I said g5 and knight h5 is the follow-up if he goes bishop h4, and this is a typical idea. When you didn't castle yet, it's usually even stronger. Okay, so
Queen
yeah,
or bishop here? Queen or bishop?
It's always a good question, and I actually never know the answer.
I'm gonna do this.
This feels natural because you develop the queen. So the only
Yeah.
thing is that after knight c3, he wants to hit your queen with knight d5. So you have to cope.
Let him.
You have to cope with it. I think you can probably move backwards to defend from it.
Backwards with the knight, you mean?
Yeah.
And then activate my light squared bish.
Yeah.
So he's looking to castle over there, huh?
So probably you want to prevent knight d5 because it's basically his only idea.
Knight to d5.
How can you prevent it in the most effective way? Nice. So now the only thing you have to be aware is that he doesn't trap your queen because it's a little bit short of squares.
Yes. Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
So in a way, okay, the next move is either castling long or short. I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned in the previous streams at some point that one of the advanced features of like playing chess on a high level is to be flexible with the castling. So
Yeah.
you
I
see,
remember you talking about that the last game.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not so easy to understand. So you need to see a few examples. So I'm glad we have this position. So our opponent, I don't know how to phrase it. Let's call him Jamie D. He is just
Jammy, yeah.
Jamie D. He knows this thing as well. This is why he's thinking. He wants to find a useful waiting move without castling. So he wants to be sneaky. And we also kind of prefer to wait for him before we choose where to castle.
What if I throw? Well, okay. So in that case, I was thinking just to throw the pawn up to c5. Just start marching on that side.
So it's possible, but then if you castle long, then you're gonna be a little bit exposed. So I'm not too sure which useful waiting move to offer. Maybe g5 followed by knight g6 at some point, like generally speaking. But if he castles, okay, now it's easy because you know what's his threat, right?
Yeah. He wants to fuck me up over there.
Yes. So you can prevent it. What move are you thinking about? To prevent
Well,
his idea?
offering the exchange of queens.
It's possible, but you want to move like forward. I want to be flexible to keep the queens for the moment. Without
So queen to h4.
you don't have to move the queen. He wants knight g4. You can just prevent this idea.
I see. We'll do it like that.
Exactly. So
Right.
you see, we didn't have this idea a move ago, but he kind of helped us by shining light on this square.
I also like bishop to g6 next.
Exactly.
Or I'm sorry, or h6. Ooh.
Yes. So you see, had you castled short, it wouldn't be possible right now.
God damn, you're good, Tal. This looks pretty resignable to me.
Resignable is a nice word. Blunderful.
Yes. Wonderful. Yes. Wonderful move.
Yeah. The guy from the previous game is still laughing.
Oh, you hate that we lost that, huh? I can tell. You hate it.
No, I'm just seeing it in my chat, like people are mentioning it. Okay,
Uh,
I honestly watched his stream like a few years ago when I wasn't that strong, and he's good. He's good. So I hate losing. That's true.
yes, I can
Guilty
tell.
as charged. It's funny.
All
It never
right, we're gonna go.
changes. Yes, go regularly.
So it was this first. That's what
Yes.
you told me to do last time.
Yes.
And now I can do D5, right? That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. There's
I'm gonna
no
do it.
reason to avoid it. If he takes, you take with a pawn normally. But now you want to develop the bish.
Yep, we're gonna do it.
Let's be solid.
Let's do it right there. Let's do it right there.
I mean, also on b4 it's possible, but then it becomes extremely, sharp.
Yeah, I thought about that, and then I decided against it.
That's good. So it's better to play solid if you don't know all the theory by heart. So,
All right, we're gonna go ahead and castle there.
Yes.
Then we got C5 coming up next, maybe.
We don't have to, because in this case he didn't get his bishop out. You see, his bishop is not outside of the pawn chain, so you can afford to just
Be in Keto. Be in Keto.
exactly.
All right. Okay. All right.
So take it slowly, like bishop b7, knight bd7, and then slowly c5, and you aim to take back with the knight if possible.
All right. We can do that.
In these kind of structures, when they capture on d5 or c5, you want to take back with pieces to avoid isolated pawns. So you go bishop b7, knight bd7, c5, and then take back with pieces if possible. And as I mentioned, the one who releases the tension is usually giving up something.
Yeah.
And, I could talk about this particular principle for probably like 10 minutes straight. It's like, it reminds me of life somehow. This becomes very philosophical quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, knight bd7.
Yep.
Releasing the tension in general, it's like demands a lot of responsibility. So c5 is the the next move.
Okay.
And so it looks quite symmetrical from where I'm sitting. And now he doesn't have a big threat. I mean, he wants to go a5, but I'm not scared, so I guess we can just keep playing in the center.
Yeah, we're gonna keep playing our game.
Yeah, the only difference is like his knight is on c3 and yours is on d7, and I feel like it doesn't make a whole lot of a difference. Okay, so normally you can release the tension, but as I said, I prefer to develop. So what is a logical nice? So many times they develop the queen first, but the rook it was the right call.
So now I should take with the knight, right?
Yes. So I mean, taking the pawn is possible, but it just complicates the game.
Well, I got a tempo with this one. Oh no, I don't. I'm attacking his b3 pawn, but his queen is protecting it over there.
But you did get a tempo from another perspective. You brought your knight closer to the center with tempo. So he wasted a move with a pawn, and you invested it in the knight. Okay, now he has only one idea, right?
His idea is just to attack that pawn, so I'm just going to push him off.
Exactly.
All right.
Ask him politely where he wants to go.
Yes. We're polite. We're polite around here.
Yes.
In these chess streams.
And there are two options: either developing the queen next, or the knight from f6 to e4 followed by bishop f6. Both feel quite nice.
Yeah, I like my position here. It's looking pretty even, but I like these kind of games where there's tension in the middle.
Yeah.
Where it's not really clear
Mm-hmm.
where it's going to turn up. That's like the most fun I have with chess.
How do you evaluate this position, by the way?
How do I evaluate it?
Like, I'll give you three options. Okay, now it's easier, but
Interesting. Yeah, so I think I'm doing better here now.
Yes.
Yep.
But the move ago, would you say Okay, first let's focus. Let's develop.
I can
with
I can
tempo.
develop with tempo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
okay. Why am
do
I
I
even
want
here?
to do I want to go to E7 or do I want to go to D6?
So
Probably E7 so I can maybe swing my rook over on the D file.
I'm done.
Oh my God, we're doing so much better. All right, and then boom, continue with the plan.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't have thought in that way before these lessons. So I am getting something out of this. And I am on kind of a winning streak on chess.com. I got my 1300 rating back, which is exciting.
Nice.
And honestly, the games haven't been too hard. When I play 10-minute now instead of 5-minute.
Yeah. So.
And I really take my time looking at. I take more time now than I did before, asking myself those important questions and making those patient waiting moves. And I've just been playing a lot better. All right.
Sounds good. Sounds really good. And
what's wrong with knight e4 here, just to kind of get him to an active spot?
Well, that's a good follow-up, normally speaking. But did you ask yourself if he has a threat?
I did not.
So ask yourself, and after you realize he doesn't, then you can do knight e4.
All right. Does he have a threat? No. Let's go. It's time to party.
Yeah. And
See, him taking the pawn would be bad, right?
Yeah. I feel like this is like a charity stream to raise awareness to prophylaxis.
Yeah, we like our position here. This is good.
That's nice. So, normally he does. Okay, after he goes queen b2, he might be threatening b4 to kind of grab space with tempo on your bishop on c5. So, do you have an idea, an antidote to b4?
I sure do, Tal. And that's a5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Grabbing space to prevent him from grabbing space. 2 squares with 1 pawn. Just came up with it, actually. Hitting 2 squares with 1 pawn.
Yes. Yes.
So, by the way, I have some friends who are around 2200 chess rating, FIDE rating, and
I had you muted for a second there.
I'll repeat in a moment. Let's
first
handle the situation. What is he threatening?
He's threatening to push that pawn still.
Yes. So
we're gonna do that.
Exactly. So I have some friends who are around 2200 FIDE, and they told me they watched some of our previous streams and they actually learned quite a bit from them. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I had a lot of people. The YouTube comments for the videos have been really, really positive.
Yeah.
They're digging the series. Yeah, and every time we stream this, about 1,000 people show up every time, so it's cool.
That's nice. So what is he threatening?
So he likes that spot on b5. But I can stop that by going knight to d6.
Don't want to go backwards because knight b5 is not really hitting anything.
Okay. So he's not really.
Yeah, he's not threatening much. That's true. Normally speaking.
What if I pin his knight? What if I move my queen to f6 there?
That's a great idea, but just on a more educational note, let's make a window for the king. Because
just in case?
Yeah, h6 is normally the right way to do it. You don't want to open up the diagonal. And
that seems unnecessary to me here.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. It's probably not the best move for objectively, but it's always a good move. It's not bad if he has no threat. It's one of those useful waiting moves. I consider it part of the opening development. So sooner or later he's gonna have to do it as well. Okay, so now he followed up with the plan that is not threatening anything.
Okay.
So does he have a threat?
No.
Correct. Which piece doesn't work? There are a lot.
Of mine or of mine or his?
Of yours. I mean, which piece can you improve?
Well, I'd like to improve my light squared bish.
Yes. So the right way to do it is kind of funny because I said a lot of things about not releasing the tension. But
Yeah, no, I get it.
After you spend so many moves improving your position, then it's about time to open up the center.
So we're gonna capture. We're not gonna push, right?
Yes, we're gonna capture. And the reason is that you have the pair of bishops and an open position favors the one with the bishops.
Yeah.
And now there is a very nice follow-up that I want you to find. So you see that both of your bishops are like looking nicely at the diagonal.
Yeah.
So you want to open up the diagonal for your bishop on b7. So there is a nice attacking move that you can do. I want you to say it out loud before playing. Because there are many options that look tempting, but this particular move I think is extremely powerful if you see the nuances behind it.
Are you talking about knight to d6?
You're exchanging the wrong piece. He has one piece in the defense, and you have like two bishops, a knight, and a queen looking at the king side. So you, like, from the attack point of view, you want to exchange his only defender.
So his oh, okay. So you oh. Oh.
So
Wait, I don't know. So are you talking about moving the knight up to like d2 eventually or something?
unfortunately, it's not working because he will take and then you lose a piece. I mean,
You're talking about knight to g5?
Yes, that's a very strong move, and I mean, it looks like it's bad because you move backwards in the middle of the attack. But the reason it's so strong is because you have 4 pieces against his king, and he has 1 defender. After you will exchange them, you have 3 against an almost bare king, and the rooks can also come quite quickly from the 5th rank, let's say. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of potential for attack. So if he takes after queen g5, it's already looking extremely
Oh
bad.
yeah, I see. Okay, all right, okay.
And by the way, if he moves, the knight h3 check is almost mating. Because if he takes, queen g5 could be mate, yeah?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
that would
but
be
now-
devastating. Oh,
Yeah, now it's not anymore, but again, he's already compromising. He's willing to open up his king. You're not forced to do it immediately. I'm gonna offer you a move that's like... Okay, so here's the idea. You have 2 options, either to keep the bishops or to capture twice and open his king. Which one do you prefer? The simpler one?
no, I think I prefer to keep my bish.
Okay, so let's
I want to
bring
keep the
rook.
attack going.
Let's bring the rook up, but be careful. The rook from d8, how can you integrate it in the attack? Carefully.
D5.
Correct.
All right.
Okay, it might not be the best move, but from practical point of view, it's very inconvenient for him because, okay, the next move is probably rook to f5 or something, and or some knight h3 check related ideas. But the principle is all the same. You're bringing pieces to the game. So now I would probably double the rooks.
All right. Okay.
Double
All
the
right.
rooks, double the fun.
Yes.
Yeah, rook takes, and then okay, wants to trade.
I don't want to trade.
Well, I think it's possible to trade. I mean, there's no reason not to. So, for example, knight takes knight and then rook takes rook. You still have the pair of bishops. So you avoid the exchange in a way. So...
All right, I'm going to check. Yep.
Yeah, and then rook takes rook. And you basically like... The problem with this sequence is that he would have traded the bishop, but now he cannot. Exactly, this is the point. And now it's extremely difficult for him to parry the threat because if the f-pawn moves, for example, to f3, then e3 is hanging. And if the g-pawn moves, then queen d5 is deadly.
Now I see why you suggested that I push h6 before, because I guess I don't really realize how quickly these files open up and how dangerous it is to have a king with no breathing room.
It's a matter of experience. I mean, like a friend of mine told me a nice saying about it. But first, do you know what's your next move?
I do.
Yeah, and I think it's game over now. You're attacking the bishop. You want queen g2 mate.
Yep.
But you see, when you have the right strategy, the tactics just flow naturally. You don't even have to see everything in advance. You can see one move at a time, as long as you have the right principles. And that's related to a saying that a friend of mine used to tell me when I was younger, much before I was a grandmaster. He's saying, whenever a grandmaster plays h3 or h6 against you, it's time to resign.
Why is I like the joke. What? So why is explain that to me though?
Well, it's hard to explain just logically, but the basic idea is that when he is playing such a waiting move, it means he's already got you and he's like saw everything.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
It's
Yeah.
like a superstition, yeah? Or the same saying applies with like when a grandmaster plays what? Okay.
He's just yeah. And he
So he's saying like when a grandmaster plays king h8 or king h1, it's time to resign.
Yes.
Same idea. And I want to say another phrase that I forgot to mention earlier. So have you heard about Jose Raul Capablanca from Cuba?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one of the best world champions in history. He had a period of 8 years where he didn't lose a single game. And
That's ridiculous.
yes, and there is like an urban legend when someone asked him like, how many moves do you see ahead? Like the popular chess question. And then he said, 1, but it's always the right move.
Yeah, I remember actually reading. I bought one of the first books I bought was called Chess for Dummies, and they had a section on all the old school chess champions from back in the day, and I think that was the famous quote. That was his most famous quote from what I remember.
And I really love it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good quote. Bobby Fischer used to say something really similar, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure like if any of this happened, so it doesn't matter which world champion you talk about when telling the story, but the point is really nice that if okay, let's be careful a bit.
So now queen to e7, right?
Yeah. To e7, yeah.
Queen to e7, right?
Yeah.
Right here.
Okay, normally speaking, you take with the d pawn, not with the b pawn. So you have queen d4, but that's a matter of theory. I don't think it's that important at this point. We don't want to focus on the opening too much.
All right, and this is going to be the last game because it looks like the tournament's closing in about 50 seconds here.
Yeah, but the game will still
right. Yeah,
continue.
yeah. We'll finish this game out though.
How many points do we have? Do you see?
How many points? Well, the rating says 2104, and it says we're number 21.
Okay. So here the follow-up is to
push a pawn, right?
Yeah. So which pawn?
Which pawn? This pawn.
Correct. I like the way you're testing if it's correct or not.
So now do I just take this pawn with tempo, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, and you have the pair of bishops, so even though we didn't play the most precise move, it feels good. Okay.
I want to get off the same file as this.
Well, but unfortunately, it's gonna get a lot of tempi on the queen. So probably we should go bishop f5 to at least threaten queen c2. Because otherwise he goes knight c3 with tempo and it's gonna be annoying.
All right,
and
okay.
in fact, even if he goes c3, then queen c2 is a good move to exchange queens. Because the bishop pair is good in the end game, and otherwise he will develop with tempi and we might be in trouble.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Okay.
Yes.
So he castles, and I'm just gonna develop, or should I just take that? He gave it to me.
I think you should take it, but not in order to win a pawn, but in order to avoid getting into trouble with the queen. It's like you're running away from the e file with tempo.
Okay.
I mean, it would have been a good move even if there was no pawn there.
I need to be careful here.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel fine. So he's attacking your bish. Probably you wanna put it on d5. This is a good square for it, yeah?
On d5?
Blocking his isolated pawn and defending c6.
I don't understand. D5.
Okay, not immediately. Like I'm talking about a maneuver.
Oh,
I was a
okay.
little
I
bit
see.
ambiguous here.
So we'll do it like that.
hmm Wow, this tournament attracted a lot of strong players. I'm quite proud of our reputation here.
Yes, yes. We're becoming quite the duo, Tal.
I mean,
Quite the duo.
in a few streams, I'm gonna be the one who's making the moves, and you're gonna be the one hinting me.
Well,
if
let's
the
let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. One
no,
thing at a
like
time.
if it becomes too strong, maybe like all the top players will join, and then it's like
All right, so
okay, now you want to develop. Uh, although, I mean, the queens are off the board. You can put the king in the center as long as you avoid
yeah.
any tricks.
All right, we're gonna do it like this.
It's possible. Even more flexible was probably king d7, and I think it's still generally a good move.
Yeah, yeah. Let me develop my knight here first. Oh, he dropped a pawn over there. Not even.
Well,
Oh well, I guess yeah. That's why King D7 is important, right? To protect
Yeah.
that pawn.
some pawns are better kept untaken.
Yes, monkey C check, monkey take check kind of thing.
Yeah,
But monkey C pawn,
yeah.
monkey take pawn. All right, we'll do it like that.
We prefer to develop. We are pawn up. We have the pair of bishops. There is no reason to do anything out of the ordinary. Just put. Okay, first of all, let's be.
I like this one. I like this right here.
Okay, you already have this killer instinct of grabbing the bish, yeah.
Yes.
But
I want
it's
I
not
want
a
that
big
bish
threat.
gone.
It's not a big threat because then he can take with the pawn, and it's a little bit annoying. So, I mean, it's not a bad move. It's just that it would be easier for us if we were to just bring the rooks to the open files. Okay, but there is a famous saying: if you say A, then you might as well say B. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's not a bad
You're-
move. Obviously, it's not bad. So, okay, now you can probably like. You have two options. Yeah, this is like the more dynamic one. I like it more. So you're attacking his rook. The knights are.
And we can maintain the pin right
Okay,
there.
So probably bishop backwards, yeah, while maintaining the pin is a good idea.
And attacking that pawn.
Yeah, it's a good move. I thought about h6 to be a little bit more annoying for him, but I like your move better because it's like more centralized. My bishop h6 move was maybe a little bit more sneaky to try to trick him, but bishop f6, you don't care about tricks. You want to play the best moves to bring the pieces to the center. Next move, the rook to e8, double the rooks, and take it from there.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
the position is objectively winning. All you have to do is like to keep improving it like gradually without missing any of his threats. So again, he's defending. He has no threats. Keep the plan, like of.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
By the way, you don't have to double the rooks. Another nice idea is to go a5 followed by a4. Because
Really?
the rook is already on a8, so you might as well activate it. Okay,
Oh,
now
I
he
see.
wants to grab your bishop. I prefer to prevent it. So probably a good way is to put it forward. There is only one square.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I had your voice in my head saying go forward.
And then you had it in your ears.
I never thought about chess like that. Like that idea of always wanting to move forward. I never really thought about.
And that being
Alright,
said, now it's time to go backwards to avoid the trade. Probably.
This is okay, right? Because we're gonna push the pawn and then.
Yeah.
Join.
But you just have to be very alert to his coming moves. Even bishop e7 was fine. Not too sure.
I can
one.
boot him off that.
Yeah,
I can push F5.
That's true. That's a good move. Okay, but now, again, his only threat is to take on e4, and I mean there is no
just
reason.
go back.
It's possible, but g6 was a better square because now he has a double attack, so you have to give up the bishop. So you have to play something like g6 or bishop f6 to protect the pawn. Probably bishop f6 is the most active. And then, okay, you gave up one bishop, it's okay. but I would prefer
that
bishop g6 earlier.
it breaks my heart. But we still have a bishop versus a knight
Yeah, it's
in the
still,
endgame, which is
better,
good.
but two bishops versus two knights is just more fun. Okay, now
Oh,
we
he
have,
just. Oh, okay.
we have
All
to
right.
defend. Probably the rook on a8 is the one that doesn't have much work at the moment, so
All
the
right.
piece
Okay.
that's less active is like the one to defend. And now, okay, you have two options. This is one of them. Yes.
That was the one I liked.
Yeah, the more active one. The other one was a prophylactic move, like c6 or even c5. Because
No
there's a
time for
pin.
prophylaxis. We got to fight.
Oh. I wish you didn't say it. Okay, so you can double. I
What
mean,
about?
yeah.
Yeah. What about that?
Why am I even here? Yeah. So if rook back to c3, you can go c5 now. Yeah.
Go to c5.
I mean, if
Oh,
rook,
I see.
yeah, there's a pin, so you can go c5 with the pawn. And
Did it?
this is like the best defense is attacking, right?
Yes.
So now.
And we're moving forward. How about that?
Exactly. And your threat is bishop takes d4, obviously, and then take with the rook. And the rook endgame will be very winning. 2 pawns are more than enough.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're already up a pawn now.
Yeah, usually 2 pawns are the threshold between a drawish and a winning rook endgame. So you can just take it. I don't see.
Wow, triple pawns here.
No. Take with the bish and then with the rook. You don't wanna
Oh,
ruin
okay.
the
All
structure.
right.
This file, the C file, has to remain closed. Rook takes
All right.
d4, and well, now it's just a matter of technique. So we just have to keep up with his threats. So, is he threatening anything?
No.
Okay, so let's bring our king maybe closer to the center, or
Oh,
it's also fine. Let's bring the kings to the center. King c6 is the let's call it the good square to put it.
but then if he pushes the no, that doesn't
Yeah,
work.
and by the way, the next move is a5 to avoid such ideas, to avoid
Yes,
these b4
yes.
related ideas. You can ignore what he's doing on the king side for the moment.
One could call that prophylaxis.
Yeah.
One could call that
Exactly.
prophylaxis.
And by the way, now his pawns are kind of loose, but you don't want to exploit it yet. So probably a good positional move is g5 to fix his pawns on the king side. And then maybe h6 next, just to stabilize the position. And he's finding it very difficult to improve his position. You don't have to beat him. You just have to keep improving. He will do the rest.
Okay. See, that's where my chess struggles the most. Just I want to get it done like quick, you know.
Yes. Remember the saying from the previous game? You get h6, it's time to resign. Okay,
Yeah,
he's threatening
alright.
b4, so don't get h6 quite yet. But you can move the king and prevent b4. Yeah, so nice. And you move to the most active square. And now you can't even ruin your pawn structure with b4.
No, we're feeling good right now.
Yeah, you're not threatening anything, but again, h6 is a good follow-up. Then maybe rook e5 and f5 slowly. And then maybe f4, you just want to grab space. There is a principle in chess that's mostly relevant to endgames. It's called the principle of two weaknesses. Okay, now h6 once again. And no threats. Rook e5 and f5 very slowly. Rook e5, no threats. I don't see any ideas for him. So you see, we just want to improve. Okay, now he is kind of doing something. He wants to open up the H file.
What if I?
Probably a good idea is just to go rook to d1, yeah, to activate your rook.
All right.
And if he opens the H file, I don't think there is any reason to be afraid. And well, you have different ideas now. One of them being d4. I mean, you have a passed pawn. I guess it's a good idea to push it.
I read that in a book somewhere.
Yeah, I was having too much fun. I forgot, like, it's better to win faster rather than slower. But there's, like, it was too fun to keep improving it slowly. And there was no harm, by the way. There is a famous or not so famous saying. Boris Gelfand said it in his book, one of the best players in the world, who also happens to be Israeli like me. Okay, H takes, of course. So his saying was like, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to win, as long as you guarantee the win. Okay, so rook h2. You can give a check just to like check on g1 to see where the king goes, because it will definitely not be good for him. And now you can go with tempo to attack one of his pieces. Do you see?
Rook to a1.
Exactly. Tempo on the pawn.
Alright.
And if
Okay.
you, and well, I don't think he has a convenient way to defend. And if he moves a4 check, king b4 is perfectly safe.
Yeah.
But you have to be extremely careful just in case. Okay, so take note. Okay, so he has no threat. You can actually exchange a pair of rooks. Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna do.
that's the easiest way. And now again, no need to rush. You can go d4 slowly, and keep improving. Maybe next move is like f6. You don't even have to force anything. Just stabilize your position. You're 2 pawns up. f6.
Yep. And then how about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can just trade everything.
Yeah.
So
he's donezo.
yeah, but you see, like he was doing the rest for you because all you have to do is improve. So you can just capture, I guess, and
Yep.
there's nothing left.
Nah, he's done.
Yeah. Okay. Nice game.
There it is.
Yes.
You-
Yeah.
Your tournament. All right, we came in 22nd.
Yes. Good job. And yeah, I feel like today I was a little bit less disciplined with the,
No,
telling you
just
moves.
for that one game. Just for that one game.
Yeah, I took it too personally. And well, at least I guess it was fun to watch to some extent.
Yeah, no, my people are happy. Do you wanna plug your stuff one more time before you take off here? Just
Yeah, sure. So I'm not sure if I remember everything, but okay. Obviously, as I mentioned, I have a YouTube channel. If anyone likes what I'm doing, then I don't know, watching it or subscribing is always nice. I have a Patreon page for those who wish to support my journey. And it's not about making money, it's about reimbursing my tons of expenses. I have to pay a lot of flights and hotels to play in tournaments in order to improve my chess. And yeah, the regular stuff, Facebook, Twitter, whatnot. It's not so important. Just if anyone likes what I do, then you can support me on Patreon.
There you go, guys. Yeah, if you value Tal's presence here on the stream and you want to throw a little wind in his sails, then you can hit up his Patreon page. Well, I'm gonna go because I gotta get some food. I'm starving.
All right. So,
yeah, this was fun. Maybe we could do it again next Monday.
Yeah, I'd love to. And yeah, just let's keep in touch. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna be in Germany or not, but either way, we'll find some time.
All right, sounds good, Tal. Good playing with you again.
Yes. Thanks for hosting me, and see you soon.
All right, take care.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute myself just in case he's saying a few words to the viewers. So not too sure. Okay, so I want to say two things before I wrap up. One of them being the far post related topic, so probably it will be easier for people to understand what I was talking about. It's a little bit complicated, but I'm sure if you made it this far in the stream, you might be interested in improving your chess. And it's one of the basic things that I've learned and that helped me a lot with my improvement where I realized it. So I'll try to find my way into that game where the far post was taking place. So this is the one. Okay, so I will mention the definition. So this position, the move. Okay, so assuming you. Sorry, one moment. Okay, so. Okay, this position, black was attacking the knight, and we played knight to c5. This c5 square, when the knight was landing here, it's called the far post. And I want to quickly go over the definition of what it means for those who don't know. And if you know, it's probably a good idea to hear it again. So I'll mention a small thing. It's quite important. So first, the philosophical part. If you know something and you hear me repeating it, then don't prevent yourself from listening. It's important to repeat things you already know, because it's one thing to know something and it's another thing to apply it. So reminding ourselves of different wise ideas can be very useful, and it cannot harm in general. So those who know appreciate hearing things that you already know. In general, not only right now. It's one thing that I notice that happens to me every now and then, where someone tells me something and I just block myself from listening because I feel like I already know it. So if I find it arrogant and something that's like harmful to myself when I do it. So now the point. When the knight landed here, this knight on c5 is this kind of thing, this square. It's called a far post. And growing up, we used the same word, even though it's not in Hebrew. And like for 10 years, I kind of used this phrase without realizing it's actually a combination of two words in English. And there is the definition. So it's a little bit complicated. I will repeat it in the future. But basically what it means is that it is your piece, one of your pieces, on the opponent's territory. This is the opponent's territory, is half of the board, on an open file, protected by a pawn. Okay? It sounds extremely complicated, but once you figure it out intuitively, then it can be extremely useful for your improvement, because this is a very important strategical concept. When you can have a far post, then it's just huge, positionally speaking. And Aron Nimcovich, in his book My System, he talks about it in length. He says a lot of wise things on the topic, but I don't feel like I have the time to explain everything right now. I might do it in the future, or maybe in one of the Patreon related lessons, because I don't do much teaching on my own channel. I try to focus on my own improvement, but here in this particular moment, I feel like this should be enough to understand. So for example, the knight here on e5 is not a far post because it's not on an open file. So when I detect something that can be referred to as a far post, I really want to put one of my pieces, ideally the knight, there. And just trust me on this one. When the knight is here, he's doing a lot of things. I'll try to demonstrate. I'm not sure if I'll do it well, but basically he's attacking a lot of squares. So that's a direct consequence of the fact that he is in the opponent's territory. Yeah, he's looking at a lot of squares, even backwards. That's one thing. Another one, the fact that he's on an open file means that he is going, like, that behind him, here for example, there is a pawn, and I'm putting pressure on this pawn because he cannot move forward, and some pieces are defending it, and they are very passive behind the pawn. And another aspect is the fact that it's defended by a pawn is that, for example, if he were to move the knight here to exchange it, and I were to, okay, let's say I exchange and play rook c1, then he can try to exchange pieces, but I will always have the far post. The only thing that changes is the piece that stands on the square, but the far post is a huge strategical asset no matter which piece captures there. So I want to maintain it. And the reason that a pawn here is important is that in case, okay, it's not the perfect position to demonstrate, but let's just say that, okay, I'll give you a small example. Let's just say that okay, I'll make some random moves, excuse me for it, but just here. So let's say he puts the rook on a5. So in this position I cannot put the queen here, But the pawn is very important because it prevents this pawn, which is a weakness, from moving forward. So this is one of the reasons why it's important to have a pawn protecting this square. So this c5 square is already a far post, but putting a piece there is considered to be ideal, and it's just very good. So I hope these small explanations are kind of useful. And then another thing I want to mention is that in general, losing in chess and in any type of game or anything in life, dealing with loss can be extremely painful. And I'm trying to handle it positively, and I'm not sure if I manage, but I know some people are handling it worse than I do. Some people might be better, but for each one it's an individual struggle. And I guess we all kind of know the wisdom, or heard it at some point in our lives, that sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. You don't necessarily lose, you just have a chance to learn. You can improve when you lose, and all the other things. I think it's a cliche, but it's also true at the same time. And in a way, there is no point to regret anything that we did, even the wrong things. And I feel like that when we lose, there's no point, like it belongs in the past, and I don't need, even though I wasn't perfect in my handling of the situation. I felt it was decent, and that ideally I would like to avoid getting clinging to the idea of that I should have won or should have played better, and all these should have, could have. And I feel like I want to bring another quote, but by a fellow YouTuber. He's not from chess, but he's a famous YouTuber and a vlogger. His name is Hank Green. I'm gonna pull the quote word for word so I don't mix it up a bit. So I think it's a very smart piece of philosophy, and I relate to it from the chess point of view. You can take it from any perception or perspective that from any perspective that you would like. So here is the quote: "You have no obligation to your former selves. They are dumber than you, and they don't exist." So I won't explain it. I hope you understand what it means, but I'll probably do a different video talking about different quotes and philosophical points that I like thinking about, and I think it's a good idea to be able to learn. And even though I think I know what it is that I'm talking about, just saying it out loud helps me remind myself what I already know, and maybe I'll apply it better in the future. So losing is painful, but if I were to win in every single game, I wouldn't have played for so long, and it wouldn't have been so much fun. So I like the fact that I'm challenged, and I'm glad it didn't harm anyone in the stream, at least as far as I can see in the chat, and by Hutch, by his reaction. And well, I'm surprisingly I'm having fun in these streams, because even if I'm not as challenged as I would be playing chess normally against grandmasters and so on, I still feel a different form of challenge, of being able to verbalize my thoughts and my thinking process without telling precise moves. It's not so easy, and I feel like I'm improving my ability to express myself. And as a future coach or teacher or educator, I don't know how to, I don't like putting labels, but let's just use these words. I think it's definitely a good practice for me. So I'm thankful that I have people to listen to me on this stage. And well, as mentioned before, I have a Twitch channel. I forgot to say it in the actual stream with Hutch. It's called Chess Juice. But again, I'm not a big fan of hunting on these numbers and followers and all these things. I feel like if some people appreciate what I do, it's more than enough. And I want to focus on granting the as much value as I can with my time. And I hope it was decent this time. And if you have any remarks, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, I mean, I feel really good. So it's quite late here, almost 1 a.m. So I feel like it's a good way to wrap up the stream. Apologies all those in the chat who ask questions, but if you want to ask me like all these general questions about chess improvement, I'm gonna do a monthly Q&A stream on Patreon, and I don't think it's very expensive. And so far not many people are participating. We only have like 3 people, so I feel like it's a good idea to join, so you can get a lot of questions. It's gonna be like 1 hour long. And generally speaking, I have 4 monthly streams. Each one is gonna be on the first Saturday of the month. And yeah, so I feel like it's a good idea. So if you like chess and you like to improve and you like what I do, you can support everything, yourselves and myself, at the same time, through the Patreon tiers. And I structured it in the best way I could to make it worth more than the money, because I feel like it's a good idea to give as much value as I can, and it will improve my chess career, it will improve this channel via the streams, and hopefully it will improve you as chess players. So please, if you like to improve your chess, consider doing one of the tiers between $2 to $30. I think all of them are quite good depending on your style. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this stream, or at least learned something from it. And if you want to learn some more, then keep watching the next videos.